Welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. Tyler's here. Jake's here. Pat's in fucking Scottsdale. I don't know. I just found that out. And Pete's at a bar drinking coffee. Okay. I mean, I understand, it's fucking, no one wants to talk about these baseball games. I get it. I'm shocked you're even listening right now. I'm shocked that you're listening to this podcast. So thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I did the baseball hour on Wednesday night. And Maz will usually text me and be like, what topic do you want? Or is anything on your mind? And I was like, this is the most disinterested I've ever been in the Red Sox in my entire life. Ever. I was like, I think that's alarming.
All right. Can we say more disinterested than the end of 2012? Like, you can truthfully say that, or would you say it's the same level?
2012 was different because that was the first year that I was doing this as a career. Like, and it wasn't even like, I don't even remember what I was getting paid. I was getting paid like $150 a week or something like that, which isn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't great, but I don't even know how old I was in 2012. How old was I? 23?
You're basically me and Jake's age.
Yeah, I was 23, I think. I was getting like $150 a week. And that team was just, it was like it was negative. It was toxic. So like this team sucks, but it's like, there's no bad eggs. There's no like, get this guy out of here. There's no drama. Like that 2012 team, there was a lot of drama and there was a lot of negativity and toxicity. So that year I was like, this fucking sucks. But at least there was drama. At least there was like something you could like talk about. The fuck are you talking about on this team? Like, what are you talking about? Like there's Triston Casas. All right, cool. And I can get into that. I saw him. What was that? What day was I at Fenway?
That was what, Tuesday?
Yeah. Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday I saw him caught up. We talked in the dugout for a little bit. Actually, funny story. So I'm in the dugout on Tuesday because I was in the NESN booth that night. So I just got there early, whatever. I'm hanging out. I go in the dugout like I normally do. And I'm in there by myself because there's no media in there. Who gives a fuck at this point? And I see Casas coming up the stairs and we kind of just like lock eyes. And I was like, I haven't seen you in 3 years. Like we literally have not seen each other in person since I think it was maybe, he said it was 18. I'm pretty sure it was 19 when he got like, because obviously he got drafted in 18, whatever. But like his first time, I think, taking batting practice at Fenway since getting drafted, I'm pretty sure that was 19. I could be wrong. But anyways, it's been years since I've seen him in person. So we were catching up, just kind of like bullshitting. And then Jemai Webster comes over. So now it's the three of us talking. And I wore my Apple Watch, which I usually only wear my Apple Watch if I know that I'm going to be somewhere like that, like somewhere where it's like, I'm not going to be looking at my phone. Like normally if I'm just kind of like chilling, I'm always looking at my phone. I was like, all right, I'll wear my Apple Watch. So chilling in the dugout, my Apple Watch starts vibrating and I look at it and it says, you have a FaceTime call from David Ortiz. So I go to Jemai. I was like, David Ortiz is FaceTiming me right now. And he's like, you should probably pick that up. I was like, okay. So I answered the call. And it's David Ortiz. And I noticed the backdrop behind him was Fenway. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, you're here. And he was like, yeah. And he ended up, the picture that was on my Instagram story of me in the dugout with Webster, Jemai, and Casas, Ortiz took that. He took that picture and sent it to me. And I posted it on my story. But went up and saw him. And I thought the coolest part about that, first of all, I haven't seen, the last time I saw Poppy in person was before he got officially inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it might have been before the vote too, right? When did we find out that he was going in? January?
Yeah, it was like right around then.
So the last time I saw him in person was December at the Barstool office. So I hadn't seen him since he got voted in. I hadn't seen him since he got inducted. So we were catching up on all that stuff. And then I posted the picture. And then my mom texted me and she was like, look what just came up on my Facebook memories. And it was a picture of me and David Ortiz from 4 years to the day was when I met him. He came into the Barstool office to do Pardon My Take. And I remember just like fucking throwing a hissy fit, being like, why? Like there's a baseball podcast here and there's a Red Sox podcast here. Why is he going on Pardon My Take when they're the ones asking me what to ask him during their interview? Like, let me fucking interview him. I have a baseball podcast and a Red Sox podcast. What the fuck? And like, I get it. Like, yeah, obviously PMT is a big deal. And like they have multiple like very funny interviews with David. Although I want to say the last time that we were in the office, like when I was talking about in December, they had like an interview with him that they didn't even use. But I think I think that there was like stuff going on where he was not super engaged in the interview. But that was the day that I met him in person for the first time. And I think we got him on starting nine for, I don't know, like fucking, I think he did like Pardon My Take for like 20 minutes. He did starting nine for 10 minutes and he literally did section 10 for 5 minutes. Like it was maybe 3 questions. And we were able to clip the 5 minutes that we had with David Ortiz to put on section 10 just to, you know, put in the title, like featuring David Ortiz on whatever episode this was. But that I remember the night before being super nervous, like, holy fuck, like you're going to get to interview David Ortiz tomorrow. Like this is the big one. And it was literally 5 minutes, but nevertheless, still a big deal. That's huge. Minutes. Yeah.
Like there's nobody I can think of. Like if I had to interview someone or have a conversation with someone that I'd be more nervous for, like, how do you talk to someone where you're like, you gave me some of the best moments of my entire life? Like you can't even like, thank you isn't justified. You don't want to be weird or anything like that. You're just going to kind of sit there and look at him in awe. Like we did Kevin Plawecki and I was sweating bullets. Like once you told me Kevin Plawecki was coming on.
Really?
No disrespect to Kevin Plawecki. Of course, I have no interaction. I didn't say this on the podcast, but I told you guys, like, the closest interaction I ever had with a player before that was Brandon Snyder. And I took a picture with him in 2013. Like that, I bet 90% of people don't even remember Brandon Snyder. But that was
I only remember him just because that story that I told you.
The one play that even comes to my mind, I remember he had a really nice play at third base one time. That was it. And for you to meet David Ortiz, I can't even.
That wasn't even the fucking big one. Like the doing the first episode of Call Him Poppy in David Ortiz's house with them basically saying you have as long as you need. I was like, you're telling me that I have a one-on-one with David Ortiz and there's no time on the clock? And they were like, yeah, I mean, it's not like he's a guest on your show. It's your show together. Like he has a vested interest in this show doing well. So yeah, go for it. And I was like, okay, here we go. And yeah, that was nuts. But I think if you go back and like watch that interview, you can tell I'm nervous in like the first 2-3 minutes. And then after that, I settle in and it's just like I just know his entire career like the back of my hand. So like there was like one point where what was it, 2009? And I was like, what was your like the most that you think you ever struggled at the big league level? And he started talking about like the start to his 2009 season. And he was like, yeah, I didn't hit a home run for like weeks and weeks. I was like, yeah, May 20th was your first home run that year. He's like, how the fuck you know that? It's like, I don't know. I followed his career. So yeah, no. And now like it's great because he's just, it's weird because he's still David Ortiz at the end of the day, but to be able to while we were doing the show, he never forgot my name. Like after the first episode, like he knew my name was Jared. Like he didn't say what's up, dude, what's up, bro, what's up, Poppy. Like he knew my name was Jared. But I was nervous.
Past Pedroia.
Yeah, exactly. I was nervous that over time, I hadn't seen him since December. I was like, there's a chance he might not remember my name. Like, I don't know. And he fucking obviously remembered because he FaceTimed me. He had to like look me up in his phone to FaceTime me and to like recognize me from that far away. I was like, okay. But yeah, I think that would be a good guest for this show. Would be David Ortiz. I feel like Red Sox fans would enjoy it.
Of course, like that is the guest. But yeah. So when he called you and everything, you had no idea you were hearing from him that day. It was completely out of the blue.
I didn't know he was there. No, I hadn't. I'll be honest. I hadn't talked to him probably since the last time I saw him. Like I sent him a text when he got voted in. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I texted him. On his birthday in November, and he answered. And then I said, January 25th. I sent him a congratulations text when he got in, but obviously he's getting a billion messages. And then I on April 4th, I heard that he was at Fenway, so I texted him. I said, "You at Fenway with the eye emojis?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "I just missed you. I was over there earlier." And he said, "Damn." And then yeah, there was no communication until he just sent this picture, and it just says, "My boy." That's it. Yeah. So there was a chance in my mind that he forgot my name, but didn't happen. That's how you know he's a real one.
So when he reached out and he came down, was he like, we got to connect? Like, was he like, where you at? Was that kind of the whole situation?
When I picked up the call, I was like, what are you doing here? And it was like Latino Heritage Night, the night after. But I think he had like a meeting before that. And he was like, come up. And I was like, okay. So I just went up to the suite that he was in and came in. Like there was like security outside the door. And they were like, who the fuck are you? And I was like, my name's Jared. I was like, I'm meeting up with David. And they're like, you're meeting up with David? I was like, yeah. He's like, so if I go in there right now and ask him that you're here to see him, like,
dude, I would have pulled the podcast clips out of my phone, dude. I was like, you guys want to see this? Like, let me pull this up for you real quick.
Yeah. So, so like they come in, they're like, is it okay if this fucking guy comes in here? And then he just walked up, custom dap up, hug, sit on the couch. Like it was one of those suites in there. And yeah, we just caught up, me and my pal David. Just had like a 20-minute hangout, just the boys chilling. And then it was time to go have dinner because I was going to go in the broadcast booth after that.
You going to tell us about that experience? You checked it made your bucket list. Like for you to put out an Instagram post checking it off. And I think it was a weird week for the broadcast booth as a whole. Can we say that? Not in a bad way. I think in a really positive way where
it's just different.
Will Middlebrooks comes in. Just extremely different. You have Eck coming down to the end here. I think Will Middlebrooks, you could have been my favorite out of anyone in that spot alongside Dave O'Brien. We all know how we feel about our Mike Monaco in the play-by-play spot. But in that other seat, listening to Will Middlebrooks for someone who has not done it at the big league level, I know he's done some college games or whatever. He's been the best I've heard, truthfully, in terms of fitting in and just sounding like a natural. So for you to be kind of in the middle of him breaking in and kind of taking over Twitter, Eck in the moment he shared where Eck was like, it almost felt like he was like passing down something to him. Just that kind of knowledge and everything. And then there's Jared Carrabis showing up in the NESN booth for the first time.
It was, I'll give Will this. I was definitely way more comfortable because he was there. Like, I think if I was just in there with Eck and OB, I think I would have been a little bit more buttoned up. I think I would have been more nervous. I think you would have been able to hear that I was nervous in my voice, but Will was there. So I was like, it was nothing, man. Like, so I knew I had the top of the third. So I ended up like, and that was like another thing. They fucking stopped me up there too. Like the fucking guy at the top, because I didn't have my normal press pass. So I like walked up into like the press box area, and there was a security guard there, and he was like, "Are you lost?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I'm going to the NESN booth. He was like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, no, for real.
Dude,
he thought that I was just like a
still
fit.
Stop you.
I mean, he was older. He was probably like north of 60. I would say like north of 65 even. So he thought that I was like joking, being like, I'm going to the NESN booth. And he was like, really, where are you going though? Do you have a ticket? And I was like, no, I'm really going to the NESN booth. He's like, do you have like an email or something? Like he was like looking at my like little pass. He's like, I don't see NESN on here. I was like, I don't work like I'm not like full time at NESN. So then he like walks me down, and like we finally see someone like with NESN that's like, yep, it's okay, thumbs up. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I thought we were gonna have a situation here. So I go in the NESN booth, and it's kind of like stadium seating. There's like a level above where like Eck and OB and Will were at. So where I post the pictures on my Instagram, I think they might be gone. They were on my story though. So you're kind of like standing a whole level above Eck, OB, and Will, but it's like the coolest view. They were talking about it on the broadcast today. They were like, yeah, like, don't take it for granted. Like, you come in here, it's the best job in the world, and we have the best seat in the house. And in my head, I'm thinking like, pretty fucking true. Like that is one of the best, if not the best views, because not every ballpark has the same viewpoint for their broadcast team. I want to say the Nats might be the worst. Like the Nats have them like 500 feet in the air. I'm pretty sure it's the Nats for the broadcast booth. But so I'm in there and I'm hanging out, and I'm just like, I wasn't nervous. And I like I said, I think it had something to do with Will. I think a lot of it had to do with like after the first pitch experience this year, I don't know that I'm going to get nervous for much in my life the rest of the way. Like maybe if I ever get married someday, I might be like, oh, fuck. But in terms of career things now, like I've done MLB Network, like the broadcast didn't rattle me. Interviewing Ortiz did. The first pitch, like I don't know what else would be left. I think the one thing that would rattle me to my core is if they ever put me on like the fucking video board, like during like a playoff game or something like that. That would really rattle my brain. I don't know that I like that. You out? I don't like that shit.
Like dance, like do something. Like if they just kind of put a cam on you.
Yeah. I don't like being on video boards unless it's like pre-taped. Like if they throw that, like once they legalize sports betting in Massachusetts, I'm pretty sure like my DraftKings commercials are gonna run on the video board during the games. Like they get a fucking DraftKings sign above the green monster. If you can bet on sports in Massachusetts, I'm probably gonna be the face that's on the video board during games. Like that'll be cool. Like I'll enjoy that. I just don't want it to be live, which is weird. So I get in the NESN booth, and it's one of those things where like I guess I was super nervous about the first pitch, but then once you get on the mound, you're just comfortable. Like I guess if you played or if you pitched, like I'm comfortable on a baseball mound. That's that for half of my life, like that was my happy place. Like I felt at home and in control when I'm on a mound. So like once you get out there, I felt fine. Once I like sat down and put on the headset, I'm like, I know these guys. Like I've met OB a couple of times. I haven't talked to him in probably years. Like I think the last time I talked to him was probably the most recent winter weekend, which was 2019. So it had been a while since I had talked to OB in person.
I'll be honest, that was the first thing that went through my mind when I was watching you sit down. I'm like, we've talked about Dave O'Brien a lot recently on the podcast, and not in a mean light, but I think in a very just honest light about how we feel about him. I was like, did that get back to him? Like, is that something he said to Jared before they actually started this inning? Like, hey, like I've heard what you said lately. I was trying to paint it in my head, but there was no way he was actually gonna like be upset because, like you said, you have a good relationship with him overall. It was never, unprofessional or something like that.
No, not at all. And I think at this point it opens up the door to maybe get him on the podcast and we can talk about those things with him. Like it's not even like a behind your back type thing. It's more just like this is what we, as fans, this is what we want more of. Eckersley, that was such a thrill. Like,
dude,
to the way that it was positioned was he was on my left, OB was on my right, Will was to the right of OB. And I mean, like, we're 162 guys here. And I guess I can compare it to, like, I remember when, like, me and Robbie Fox interviewed Triple H for the first time, and it was a phoner. And he, like, after we were done, he's like, what did you think about that? And I was like, I think the craziest part about that was that, like, I spoke words and then the returning voice was Triple H's. And I could hear it in my ears because it was like this. We had like the cans on. I was like, Triple H was responding to something that I was saying verbally, and like that was crazy to me. So it was kind of the same thing with Eck. Like, I've met Eck before. We've exchanged messages in the past. Like, we're familiar with each other, but it's not like we've ever like hung out. Like, I haven't interviewed him for the podcast or anything like that. But how many Red Sox games do you think that I've watched in my life and heard the broadcast, and then to be sitting up there for, even if it was a half an inning, but to be talking and being like, if there are people at home that are watching the Red Sox game and they're listening to this conversation right here, that was nuts. That was nuts to me. But I think there's definitely been some career experiences that I've had that I've walked away from and felt like a complete just adrenaline dump, where it's like, like the first pitch, thank fucking God that's over. Like, I feel exhausted. I feel like I just ran 20 miles because I was so worked up about it, and now it's over. And that, what a sign of relief. After the NESN broadcast, I was like, let's do that again. It was like going on a roller coaster. You're like, woo, let's go back up there. That was fucking awesome. Like, I just had so much fun. Like, it was a blast. I think obviously the Orioles hitting back-to-back home runs. I think, like, I wanted to see what the reaction was on Twitter. And so there were, like, obviously people were tweeting like, get him out of the booth. But that was like a jinx thing. It wasn't like he sucks at this thing. So it's definitely something that I would love to do in the future. Not saying I want to do like every game. I'm not saying I want to do even a full game. Even if it was like once a homestand, I go in there for a half an inning. Like, I would enjoy that. Like, I have like the way that like Millar can go in there and tell stories. I can do that too. I didn't play, but I've got stories that I could probably share on a broadcast too, especially during a season like this when people aren't necessarily tuning in for the on the field play. They're like, all right, well, it's why people used to watch with Don and Jerry. It's just, how are you going to entertain us during this shit game or this shit season?
But like, you think about it with Alex Spear, they have Spear on usually maybe once or twice a homestand, come in and talk, and he does, his stat nerd kind of thing. I could picture you doing that same role. Obviously not stats, but coming in and telling stories. I thought, like, I don't know, it was like watching a sitcom and like one of your boys shows up. I was like, it's weird. Like, I felt like I was watching a TV show. Yeah. But when Eck leaned in and he said something, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, dude, I've watched you grow so much. Yeah. I was like, that's just, that kind of statement is like wild. Like you said, you and Eck don't have that kind of, relationship where you're shooting texts to each other 24/7 or whatever it may be. But for him to acknowledge and be like, dude, I've seen you come from down here all the way up here. Dude, like, does it get better than that? Especially when this is the last chance for that. Like these next 6 games are the end of the Eck era, and you were able to get that before it was over.
That's what he said.
We linked up on Twitter, which is where I linked up with Eck, the legend.
Your career has taken off. I mean, I've watched it. I've been here a long time.
I appreciate that.
I've been watching. I mean, this guy is well known. He is.
He is. So I saw that clip go out from the podcast account. Hand up. Jake sent me the whole video. I have the entire video of the inning. I haven't watched it. I sent it to my agent. He's like, he'll do like the same things that like my mom does. Like I'll just like do shit like that without telling like my parents or whatever. And like, why didn't you tell it? You're gonna be on the broadcast. Like you didn't fucking tell us. Like he's like, oh, you're on the NESN broadcast. You didn't tell me. I was like, I'll send you the video. So Jake sent me the clip of the full inning. I messaged it to him. But I still haven't watched it back. I find it some things I will watch back, like the NESN show that I'm doing now, like a pro. When those episodes come out, I'll watch them because like they're funny. But like when I'm like kind of semi like nervous about something, then I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to know how I did. And then if people will like tweet me or text me and be like, oh man, you crushed it. Then I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't want to listen to it and know that you're lying to me. So I have not watched it back or listened to it.
What will it take for you to do that? Or do you feel like it's one of those things maybe down the line you'll dig into? Yeah. I think this off season probably, when I like miss baseball or I'm like thinking about like Eck is done and he's really done. And I want to appreciate, like X voice in the broadcast booth, then I might fire it up. I would say maybe you know what I might do it closer to New Year's Eve. I get very reflective around like, all right, this year's over. Here's what we did this year. Let's move on to next year. But before we move on to next year, like let's just look at some of the things that we did. I'm not a big smell the roses guy until it's time to turn the page. I respect that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't picture in my head because, like, obviously, you know, we had Don come and go and do his part over the years. Obviously, Jerry passed away and everything. You just can't have a moment like this. You know what I mean? And for you to be able to do that on X way out, I think in this entire year where there's been so much hell, this might end up being the biggest bright spot of the season for you. Like, this might be the moment you look back and say, outside of probably the first pitch, that you remember the most.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a trip. I mean, like, I'm kind of glad. I'm almost like, in a way, I'm glad that it happened in a lost season because I think the conversation was more casual and free flowing because the viewer at home doesn't necessarily give a shit about what's happening on the field. I think it would have been like, if that game meant something, like big time meant something, I probably would have said no to going in there. I'm like, I don't want to be like it. I don't want to be the reason why. Oh yeah. Like, I don't want to be the reason why, like if they fucking hit back-to-back home runs that people are going to blame me for why they're losing, or people being like, shut the fuck up. We just want to watch the game. Like we got 7 games to go. We need to win this one to get into the playoffs. Like, shut the fuck up. No one cares about your show. So just glad it happened that way. Could have been worse.
I will say what they had Michael Walker's dad on. Was it that night or was it?
Yeah, he was right before me. Yeah.
Yeah. No offense to Michael Walker's dad, but it got a little bit awkward in there. Like, it felt like they ran out of things to talk about while
this was a long inning. Yeah,
it was. And like, I felt bad because you could tell they were just trying to find their way out of it. And I was like, all right, with you, it didn't feel like it dragged on. And I think that's like the biggest compliment you can get.
Yeah, it was like 8.5 minutes, perfect amount of time. Didn't run out of questions. Didn't run out of topics, and short and sweet, and get the fuck out of there. Done deal. So I'd like to do it again next year. We'll see what happens, but it's a box. It's a box checked. I never thought, I mean, like that for sure. Like, one of my friends actually, I guess you could even consider him somewhat of a mentor. He took me into the press box and like the NESN booth for the first time in I believe that year was 2010. And I mean, he just like, he like knew he like knew like Larry Lucchino and like Lucchino's circle. So like no one said anything to him. He just like walked around and he was the guy. And he took me up there and he was like, so this is what you want to do, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I just remember like looking in the booth being like, it's a pipe dream. Like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but yeah, that's the goal. And then he saw like the pictures that I posted and he like reached back out. He's like, do you remember like what we talked about when we went in there? Like, yeah, like you really want to do this? Yeah. So
you had never been asked before to go in that booth. This was the first time they approached you or you approached them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That surprises me. I don't know. I hear this press box story and I'm not going to lie. It makes me have a little regret. So like a year ago, right around postseason time, obviously my first year doing any of this kind of stuff or really getting in the mix. And I was just doing stuff for Zolak and Bertrand. I got offered a media pass. They're like, you can go to the game, go do your thing. I was too much of a bitch. I was like, I didn't know anyone. I had never done anything in media. I was like, I don't think I've earned I'm not there enough to go sit in the press box or play my part. You know what I mean? Or kind of go down that path. So to hear you take that step all the way back in and see that site and all that stuff, I don't know. It makes me be like, maybe that's something I should have tried to push myself to go do. But yeah, I respect it. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it is like intimidating. Like there are people that listen to this show. They're like, yeah, like I'm going to journalism school or whatever, broadcasting school. And they're like, I want to do what you do. And I was like, I didn't do those things first. I did not go to journalism school or broadcasting school. I just did it. I started my own blog, started the podcast, whatever. And I just knew what I wanted. And I just kept going until we, I guess, forced other people's hand to be like, well, why aren't we using this guy? So I think like looking back at those years, it's kind of like the episode after the MLB Network appearance where I was just like, oh fuck, like we worked for this. Like this wasn't like an overnight thing. This was in 2010 I said, yeah, like someday I'm gonna be in there. And then it took 12 fucking years. It took 12 years for NESN to be like, you know what? You're right. You should be. And even if it was a half inning, like I am grateful for that opportunity. And it was a thrill to be in there. And I'm glad that it was, I obviously don't want to see Eck go, but if it's going to be his last season, that's pretty fucking cool to get to one of his very last games at Fenway Park, to get to go out with him. And obviously having built a relationship with Will over the last, I don't know, 8 years, however many it's been. Like it was one of his first times up there. Like that's a unique experience for him. And I'm getting to ride shotgun with him as he hopefully has a long career. Cause I think the reason why I think Will is a great fit beyond just his knowledge is he wants it. Like we mentioned Kevin Youkilis. Kevin Youkilis is great on the broadcast. And I think he enjoys doing it, but he also, he's got that brewery. Like he's got his baby. I think this gig can be Will's baby. And yeah,
that's a serious compliment.
Yeah. Cause he's young enough. And that's always the thing that we were talking about around the time of Jerry Remy, was back when Jerry Remy played Major League Baseball, you weren't set for life when you retired. Like you needed to get your ass a job after your playing days were over. So we were kind of just not in a position anymore to have a former big leaguer that the fan base was familiar with and liked, that still needed a paycheck. Like Kevin Youkilis made a fuck ton of money as a Major League Baseball player. He doesn't have to do a full season. He doesn't have to, especially when he lives out west. I mean, Will lives down in Florida, so it's not like he's super local, but it's not that difficult for him to get here. And I think he could be talked into coming up to Boston.
The way the way he speaks about things up here, and I think it's the humility that reminds me of like Jerry Remy in a lot of ways, where he has no problem. Like you'd see a guy who will, nice career. Obviously, you're in the booth with Eck. You're a Hall of Famer, the upper echelon. It's how he conducts himself and the respect he gives to Eck, but also the way he can kind of talk baseball. Poppy coming up there and saying like, this is a guy who just understood, even as a young guy who had only been in the bigs for a year going into 2013, how he carried himself. He understood the game and his place in it. That was the biggest thing about him. It didn't feel like he was trying to do too much, trying to be somebody else, trying to fill another dude's shoes up there. And I was like, that's what I liked about Will. He wasn't trying too hard. And no offense, like Kevin Millar, I really appreciate the effort. And I think he's had some really good moments. I think there were times this year where it felt like he was trying really hard. And I understand like that kind of platform, that kind of opportunity, who isn't going to be nervous? But I thought Will was just so comfortable, and I got a ton of love for him, man. He is the first person like media wise to ever reach out to me outside of the Sports Hub. Like before I was doing this and be like, dude, I appreciate the shit you're doing. Like keep grinding. That stuff's always meant a lot to me. And I told you when we did that live stream way back over the summer, he was one of my favorite players. Like he was one of those guys. I had both of his jerseys over the years, but it takes someone who's willing to kind of devote their life to it in a certain way. Eck mentioned that to some degree, and how that's one of the reasons he feels he needs to step away. This might be the guy who can do it, and he's had a whole ramp up this year doing post and pre. I feel like it's very rare you see someone step in and be that comfortable their first set of games.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, as Eck kind of takes a back seat here and he mentions, I played 24 years in the big leagues. I had another 20 in the booth. Like now it's time to go be grandpa. Like Will's got two kids. I mean, in the Tom Brady comparison where it's like Giselle's like, are you going to fucking come home or what? I would say Jenny Dell would understand if you wanted to make a lifelong career in media. Like she is the one that encouraged him to get into it in the first place. Like, hey, you would be good at this. Hey, get off your ass. Hey, get a job. Like you're really smart. You can talk baseball. Like go ahead and do it. So yeah, I think that it would be the perfect gig for him. I think that if that's what NESN is looking for, and I can't tell you what they're looking for, I don't know. If they're looking for I don't want to say next Jerry Remy, there never will be another Jerry Remy. But if they're looking for a 162 guy or something close to it, I want to say Will is your best bet. As far as knowledge, entertainment factor, and willingness to get close to a full schedule, pretty much.
Like he was dropping WAR in there. You know what that means to a nerd like me to hear someone say WAR in the NESN booth? Mm-hmm. Like that's the kind of stuff. And Will ain't the most analytic nerd or whatever, but he understands modern baseball. Mm-hmm. He understands how the game's kind of broken down and how both sides see it. And for someone to bridge that gap, that's the biggest thing. Because a lot of the people that are my age, even compared to your age, Jared, there's a big gap in how we view and break down the game for the most part. He can bridge that. And that is so important. I think if you want to bring younger people into the game, if you want to go beyond and be able, we've talked about with Dave O'Brien at times, what kid is going to listen to Dave O'Brien and really want to listen to a whole broadcast? Probably not many. You hear Will Middlebrooks on there, that's a guy you're going to be like, I remember watching him when I was, 10 or a little younger than that, and I can connect with him. And he fits for the prospect nerds, the guys who watched him come up and fell in love with him back in the day. I got awful Facebook posts, embarrassingly bad Facebook posts about Will Middlebrooks. If you go through and check out what I had to say back in the day about future third base or third baseman of the future, whatever it may be, these corny ass posts. But like that's the stuff, and I just thought that was the fun part. It's so full circle after everything that happened with his playing career and meeting Jenny Dell and all this stuff here. It feels so, I don't know, it just feels right. It feels like the cycle's complete.
Yeah. New episode of Like a Pros with Will Middlebrooks.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Just came out today. That's the episode where Will and I go get tattoos together. It's a good time.
Have you heard a lot of feedback yet from people, like overall, and how they feel about it? Like, are people actually into it? Like, are you happy with what the product is?
Yeah, I mean, the product's fucking great. It's the feedback that I've gotten is that it's super well edited and like put together. Like, it looks really well done. Shout out to Mike Eamon for that. He crushed it. I think there's the part of the fan base that's like, I'm watching it and it's great. And then there's the part of the fan base that's like, I can't find it. Why? It's not on demand. And it's like, no, it's on NESN 360. Like, you go on your, like, if you have NESN, you already have a subscription. You don't need to pay extra. If you already have NESN for cable, you just log in on your phone or your laptop or whatever. And it's right there. It's right, boom, right there, done. Like, my mom was like, how do you get it on the TV? How do you get it on the TV? I'm like, you don't. Like, the hardest part has been getting people to find it.
I'll be honest. So I watch a majority of the games. I have Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click right on the app, it's like the second row. Like, you have the games, like it's usually like, Red Sox, whatever. If there's a Blue Sox game, it's right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's you. Like, it's right below. So if you just click on the app, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
I'll have a review coming.
Please do.
Don't worry.
I'm glad that people are starting to like put it all together about like the you made a mistake leaving crowd. Like, that's really died down once they've seen what's happened this year.
Like, you must feel like you're checking off almost too many boxes.
Yeah,
like,
I said that to one of the Fenway security guards because he's super. I've mentioned him on the podcast before. His name's John. He's like an ambassador up there in State Street. He's like, what's next? And I was like, John, I don't know. I was like, I feel like I checked a lot of boxes this year. Like, I feel like MLB Network was a big one. Being in the NESN broadcast booth, that was a big one. Like, the stuff that I'm doing with DraftKings, like the stuff that we have planned for the playoffs, like some of these like playoff games, the stuff that I'll be doing, like fucking new commercials. Like, people are gonna be sick of me. They already are because of these commercials. Like, getting to do the stuff with DraftKings for WWE, that has been a thrill. Like, I was on SummerSlam. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to come up with like a new idea board or video board or whatever the fuck they call those things for like, what do you want to do this? You can't get complacent. And I never have been. 16 years. I'm still just like, let's fucking go. Let's do it. But I don't know what's next. I don't know what I want to do next. I think it's more of this. I want to keep, building this shit up. I think I have other ideas. Like, when I talked to Pat about, like buying a bar in the Fenway area and like my whole idea behind that and whatever. But
so you're serious about that? I never knew you actually, that was something you really wanted to do one day.
Yeah. I mean, like I can't, like, I want to be involved in it, but I don't want to like,
you're not running it day to day.
No. Yeah, no. I don't want to be involved in like the day-to-day bullshit. But yeah, definitely going in with the light group.
So this is the place where we could have our watch parties and I could go there and drink a really bad amount of alcohol and not have to worry about getting kicked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it.
That's something I want to do. But yeah, I mean, I think like the NESN show, like season 2 will be more fun because I think the team will be better. And I think players will have seen what we did in season. Because I think anytime you baseball players, it's a pain in the ass to get them to do stuff because baseball is every day. So if they have an off day, they want to spend that with their significant other, their family, whatever. Guys don't want to mess with their routines. So it's like, if you want to, maybe before you go to the ballpark, that like Kevin Plawecki was nice enough to like let us come to his house. And not everyone's going to do that. Not everyone's going to want to give you time on the day of a game. They're going to want to go through their normal routine. So getting guys to do it is kind of the hard part. But what helps is having a good baseball team. And there's reason to believe the Red Sox might have a good team next year. It could be a good team.
It sounds weird, but in the last week or so, maybe it's because I'm just so emotionally detached. I'm starting to feel good, like much better about next year. Listen, I'm one of these people. Like I get a week into the offseason, I'm like, you know what? We're going to be okay. Everything's going to work itself out. We got money to spend. Like there's nothing to panic about. But I've been doing just a lot of offseason crunching right now. And maybe it's watching Triston Casas. Maybe it's Brian Bayo. But I feel positive. Like I'm willing. I've detached myself from this year. We're playing it out at this point, but there is a lot to be excited about. There's a lot of things that are going to bounce back. You got Trevor Story telling Alex Cora, I promise you I'll be better. That's the kind of chip, these guys are going to have on their shoulder going into next year. I'm ready for the revenge tour. Like, I don't know what else could get you excited. And they're going to spend. They don't have a choice. If Heimblum wants a job, they got to spend.
Trevor Story said, I promise you I'll be better next year.
I have the line right here. I actually tweeted it out.
Said this to Alex Cora?
Yep. So obviously today we found out for people haven't, been keeping up. He's sick, whatever it is. His progression has been slowed. He's not going to come back and play again this year. He told Cora, I promise you I'm going to be better. That was the line. We're going to be better as well. Speaking about the team, there was more to that whole quote, but on himself, he goes, I promise you I'm going to be better. I didn't live up to my contract this year. I wasn't the Trevor Story who posted every day. Next year, get ready. Trevor Story is coming with vengeance. And Cora said he's ready to go heavy on the recruiting process as well. He wants to be deep in there, calling guys, basically doing what Xander did. And on the same, level as that in the last week, he stepped out. No one made him do this. And he told, the media, you should pay Xander Bogaerts. He needs to be here. I'll play second base. I'm happy playing second base if it means Xander Bogaerts is here. Because at the end of the day, yeah, we talked about shortstop when I signed here and everything. What I care about is winning.
And Maz pointed this out last night, that when Story got to spring training this year, that he said, I'm looking forward to playing second base this year. He said this year. So he's walking that back, which is good.
Yeah, I remember when that quote came out and a lot of people were, kind of pushing that. And I think it was fair. Like, I like Xander Bogaerts, and I've seen a couple people tweet this at me recently. I was very hard on Bogaerts' defense last year. I don't take any of that back. It was well-deserved. The Red Sox told you how they felt about Xander Bogaerts' defense. They told him to go home, and he had, distinct. They gave him a whole basically offseason plan on how to get better at shortstop. Him and Devers at third base. And what did Xander Bogaerts do? He had by far the best defensive year of his entire career. Considerably. I think anyone sitting here just from the eye test would tell you the advanced metrics all back it up. He's above, positive defensive run saves for the first time in his career at 1. Outs above average. He's like 87th percentile. This is a guy who was like bottom of the barrel at shortstop. We're talking the worst defenders at the position.
What a mistake that was by the Red Sox.
What do you mean? Telling
they
him to
just
work
made
on
him infinitely more valuable in a season where they finished in last place. Seems like they should have given him that assignment after they re-sign him in November, and then they're like, here's the manual on how to be a better shortstop. Then that's when you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's other things to it. I think a lot of people, in the last couple days, the Globe did a little bit of a write-up, but StatCast, or Baseball Savant, I should say, came out with a new throwing metric, basically showing some of, your average throw speed from second base or whatever it is. Trevor Story's arm, it's clear. There's something.
It's gone down every year.
There.
The last since 2020.
In this year, even amongst second basemen, he was below average there. So what I think Trevor Story can probably realize, it's better for my long-term career to play second base, where I can go and be probably the best defensive second baseman in all of baseball. I got Xander Bogaerts, who is one of the best shortstops in the entire sport, arguably the best. Come on. Could you ask for a better situation and he can recognize it? It just shows they're about winning. That's what they want.
Yeah.
All they need is the front office to buy into that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I grow increasingly more optimistic every day that Xander will be back. Cautiously.
Why?
Because I don't think the Red Sox have a choice.
I think they've been backed into the corner this year with just how everything played out. And we talked about this back in the middle of the summer. We were like, if things did go wrong when they were in that, middle of the road kind of way, maybe that would be the thing. If they had a great year, they'd be like, all right, you know what? Like we can figure it out without Xander. We can move on and go another route. Every single player that's basically not a rookie has told you this year, we need him here.
Yeah.
You're coming off being the punchline of the entire city for an ownership group that is increasingly sensitive when Jared Carrabis is just talking about things he's hearing and there's a report an hour later. Like, these are the things we know about this ownership group. They have the money to spend. The money is off the books. All the comments, Sam Kennedy, another interview today. Hein Bloom has had interviews all throughout the season. They will look horrendous if they let Xander Bogaerts walk. It is going to be a bad look. And I think it's even interesting, and I'll play this into what you're kind of saying, Jared. The fact that he said, I'm not sure if I'm opting out. Listen, he knows he's worth more than that contract. And I'm not telling you he's not going to opt out. I think if nothing gets figured out between now and, 5 days before the World Series, whatever it is, you will see an opt out. I think he looks at it and he says, we have a month here. Obviously, we couldn't figure it out during the offseason when you tried to add that 1 year for $30 million, which would have put him at a 22.5 AAV, less than Trevor Story, which is why it was so insulting. I think he's fine keeping the first 3 years of that deal if they can figure out the rest of that contract. Can you add on another 5 or 6 years here, turn it into something of a 7 or 8 year deal here that works for everyone? I'm willing to take a lower salary those first couple of years, maybe bring that money down. Obviously, it's an AAV situation, but once again, we've never looked at it and thought Bogaerts cares to break the bank for the Red Sox. He just wants to be treated fair. And I think that's why he's not even willing to commit to say, I'm opting out right now. I think he hopes to get it done before it gets to that point.
Yeah, because how many years would he be opting out of? 3?
3 years at 20.
So, and it's not even just an AAV. Yeah, it's 20 per.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would tack on another 4 or 5 years,
and then you could find a deal that maybe works for everybody here, where he never hits the free agent market. You never have this whole, situation where he's taking meetings with the Phillies and the Cubs. You don't have that whole John Lester situation where, he thinks he's going to be here and then he goes there and realizes, oh shit, like they wowed me. They blew me away.
Yeah. When does he need to make that decision by? When is like the deadline for opting out?
5 days before the World Series ends.
5 days before it ends?
I believe that's the date. I believe that's how they have to make the decision.
Interesting. I thought it would have been after the World Series ends.
I could be wrong. I thought I read that in the Globe the other day.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me dig here for a second.
Well, you're digging for that. I'm going to dig for a fucking Blue Moon. Because baseball and beer go hand in hand, and Blue Moon is the perfect playoffs companion with its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, iconic orange slice ritual, and authentic ballpark roots. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. From a playoff berth to a world championship, a Blue Moon guarantees a one-of-a-kind beer experience every single time. Got the weekend coming up. Gonna get that 6-pack of Blue Moon bottles. Doesn't even matter. Can, bottle, whatever you want, because you're pouring into a glass. And you're gonna need to throw an orange in there. You have to. So enjoy your weekend with Blue Moon. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian White is one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that's one-of-a-kind? Best served with a signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Break out of your same old beer slump. Blue Moon Belgian White is one-of-a-kind every time. Get Blue Moon Belgian White by delivering. Get Blue Moon Belgian White delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale. You find it?
Yes, I did. So the way it works is he has until 5 days of the World Series to make the decision. So he can opt out before then, but that's kind of Within 5 days of the end of the World Series, Bogaerts will decide whether or not he will opt out of his contract with Boston and become a free agent. That's from Catillo's article, 2 or 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Where he kind of spoke with him and saw where he was standing.
Yeah. I feel good about it.
He told you, listen, we got however many games it was. Let's see what happens. Let's see if talks start up. Don't let him go back to Aruba. That's the way I would say. That's how I would go about it. Don't let him go back. Get it done before he leaves.
Yeah. I think the number one thing that made me feel confident about it was that article that talked about the rival executives that were all like, yeah, like he's staying in Boston. Like, we're not going to waste our fucking time like drafting up like pitches.
And that's it. If other teams are starting to get that sense, I think it tells you where the Red Sox think they stand and just where they are. It's clear. Is it worth it to go and pay Trey Turner? Like, you're not getting anything out of here that makes a ton of sense for you. Like, go pay another shortstop right in that same age range. Yeah, maybe Trey Turner would be easier to move to another position, but all the damage you would do to the clubhouse, what would happen with Rafael Devers? It's not worth any of that. But I don't know. I've seen some people starting to get on the Carlos Correa train again. Red Sox stats starting to put out that propaganda once again.
Really?
And listen, I like Carlos Correa a lot. I am a Carlos Correa guy. I still think Bogaerts makes the most sense, but it's coming out. There's
Stats wants Correa?
Yeah, he posted a picture of what was it? He photoshopped Story's head on to Arise's head over there, and it was him and Correa, and he was like, let's see.
What?
Then you go down the same train of, Alex Cora and Correa, and it's his boy, and all this different stuff here. Do I think Carlos Correa would be an absolute monster here? I do. But it would also, you have to give Devers a pretty big contract coming up. Those are, you'd be putting a lot of money, probably, $300 million at least for Carlos Correa and up. Devers is probably sitting 300, maybe a little bit below at the moment. It's a lot of money. A lot of money to dish out.
I do like this tweet, though, from Stats. Been hearing a lot of, I wouldn't mind having this guy back comments about a lot of the Red Sox upcoming free agents. And I think it's time to dramatically raise expectations on how the team can upgrade these spots this winter. I agree.
100%.
I think there are plenty of guys when we did the ARC segment a couple episodes ago where we were like, yeah, sure, bring him back. Fine. Like, it should be like, fuck yeah. Like, this guy helps. This guy is valuable. He makes this team better. Yeah, I feel like there are a number of individuals that fans are like, I guess, yeah, bring him back. But can you do significantly better in a lot of areas? Yeah.
Do you have someone who you've changed your mind on or that sticks out to you the last couple days?
About wanting them back?
Yeah. Someone that you're like, maybe I was okay with them coming back, or I see a lot of people saying, like, I'll take him back, and you're like, I think I'm good.
Depending on what the price tag is, I kind of feel that way about Nate a little bit.
First off, I'm happy he came back for these last two starts. I think that kind of tells you how he feels about his chances of being here next year. But
yeah,
he was sitting. It's the same stuff we saw when he was coming back off the injury last time. Velocity is not where it needs to be. He's not Nate Eovaldi of 2021 and before.
No. And like, do I want Nate? Like, would I be happy to see him back? Yes. But for what he's probably going to cost, for what you're probably going to get out of him, you can probably do better. And that's, it's nothing personal. I love Nathan Eovaldi. But I just feel like that's kind of one of those guys that Stats, I don't know how Stats feels about him, but when I read that tweet, that's the first name that came to mind was, I feel like there has been a lot of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind to see him back. Yeah, sure. But for what he might cost, what can you do with that money? Where can you improve? Obviously, you need to improve the pitching staff. Like, they've been the number one reason why the Red Sox are not making the postseason this year. It's been run prevention. It hasn't been the run scoring ability. Even a guy like JD Martinez. I know that people are like, oh man, JD Martinez, he fucking fell off. He fell off and he's got no power. Okay. You can say that about the home runs, but you cannot say that about the Devils. Like JD Martinez has 43 doubles this year. How many people in Major League Baseball have more doubles than JD Martinez this season?
Is it even one?
One, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, there it is. And he has the most, obviously, by a DH. I heard them talking about it on the post game. I'll even listen. I've shit on JD more than anyone. I'll put my hand up right here. In September, listen, he's swinging the bat a lot better. It's a 126 weighted runs created plus this month. 3 home runs. The home runs he hit in this series, I haven't seen JD Martinez square up a baseball like that in really maybe since last year. I do think that it's interesting. It's playing out a little similar to last year where really for the middle of the summer until September, he was not there. He kind of fell off. And then we saw JD take over the postseason or the beginning of it last year. I don't know if that points to something where he just can't keep it consistent over 162 anymore, but I'll give him his credit. Whatever that adjustment he made in Cincinnati where he legit said, fuck it, it's paying off. Something's working there because he has bat speed again.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way. JD Martinez entered the month of June this year. Let's just say May 30th because he didn't have. I think he went 0 for 3 on May 31st. 369 with an OPS of 1,003.
What was the BABIP?
I don't fucking know.
We did this April. What was the day? May 30th.
His BABIP was
469.
Where the fuck do you even find that? Oh yeah, 469. Yep.
That's high. That is now. I would tell you all those hits that fell in over those first 2 months where it was like every single damn blooper that could have fell in. No one's holding a 469 BABIP. Like that is unsustainable. 300's league average.
All right.
So that's where I would go and I'd be like, okay, there was definitely some luck in there, but I think also you could argue there's been some bad luck. Alex Cora, shout out to him, looking at Baseball Savant pages on EEI this week. JD's expected stats, they are a little bit better than what his stats are for the season. So there has been some bad luck like we talk about with Alex Verdugo, not to the same extreme by any means. I thought it was interesting that Cora brought that up for JD, by the way, because that kind of hurts Bogarts in the opposite direction. But I don't know. There are some things there that tell you JD has something in the tank. I don't think it's maybe what the Red Sox need, but is he completely washed and on the brink of retirement? No. There's something in the tank there.
You want to know when he really started to dip?
When?
June 28th.
Don't say that.
He went under a 900 OPS on June 28th and never came back up.
So from June 28th until August 31st, his slash line over that time, 202, 262, 314, 576 OPS. 58 weighted runs created plus, so he was 42% below league average. You want to know how many home runs he hit during that time?
1.
3.
3? Okay, that's a lot.
Same he has this month.
A lot of homers. Yeah. I mean,
So-
people looked at JD Martinez and they're like, how many homers does he have? And it's like, well, there's other ways to contribute, but you look at the numbers in the second half and it's just hasn't been there. So they were essentially giving him a eulogy on the broadcast today, being like, there's no fucking way this guy's coming back. Do you think the percentage is 0?
No, I wouldn't say it's 0. I do think it's low. I don't think he's going to get the qualifying offer. It wouldn't make much sense. But do I think JD Martinez is going to have a super big market? No, I don't, because he can't play the field anymore. The Red Sox don't feel comfortable putting him out there for whatever reason. And even when he's not playing the field, he's going to miss time with back spasms, at least at some point just about every month. But if I'm the Red Sox and there's a deal that, he's willing to take to stick around, I think they'd think about it, maybe somewhere in the 12 to 14 million range. But do I really think that fits where the Red Sox roster construction is at? Probably not. I don't think that's the way they view it. But I don't know. I don't think it's a 0% chance. I just think he'd be eating his ego a little bit. It definitely, I think there'll be better spots and better places for him come free agency.
Yeah.
I could picture like someone like the Mariners, like being like, hey, this is a guy that makes a lot of sense for us moving forward. We need kind of a veteran bat we can put in the middle of this lineup. Obviously, Haniger may not be back over there and whatever it may be. Let us bring in a veteran DH. You still have Jesse Winker. Hopefully, he can play a competent outfield at that point still. But I could picture him slotting in somewhere there. But he's the number 2 DH on the market. He's going to be behind Jose Abreu. And even Jose Abreu, I think, hit 15 home runs this year. Great hitter, much better hitter than JD Martinez at this point. But that's kind of the field you're looking at.
I just don't want
think the Red
Sox to do that. Like, I don't want them to. I don't want them to use the DH spot as like a roving position to give guys a day off their feet. Like Devers, it's like, oh yeah, like we'll put Arroyo at third base today so you can have a day off, but not a day off from hitting. And I just don't want that.
I get it. It is something that concerns me, like, as well. Can this lineup give you what it needs to, like, on a day-to-day basis? Because I think one of the reasons the offense, stalled so much was because JD stopped hitting. Like, that was a big part of it. Going from that to, whatever it is, Christian Arroyo basically hopping in the lineup for a day as you move guys around. You're definitely, you maybe get a little bit above league average production, but it's not going to be significant. But do they look at it and say, we can keep Xander Bogaerts healthy so his numbers don't dip in the middle of the year like they usually do? Can we save Rafael Devers so he's not limping for half the season and, not the player he should be in the second half? Can we do that so Trevor Story plays more than 94 games this year?
I feel like with the same thing with Story is kind of similar things that happen with Aaron Judge, where your Boston is a big time first impression market. And Trevor Story had the unfortunate experience of getting hurt in his first year in Boston. So for the next 5 years, we're going to hear about how he's injury prone, even though his main injury was from getting hit by a fucking pitch.
Jared, wait, you're telling me that wasn't his fault? You're telling me that wasn't to blame on Trevor Story? That wasn't just bad luck?
I mean, that is essentially what happened with Aaron Judge. Motherfucker got hit by a pitch. And then he dove for a ball and like cracked his ribs, and like the medical staff fucked it up, and it made it way worse. And he had there was this whole like Aaron Judge can't stay healthy narrative, and then he goes out there and hits 61 home runs.
But I think that's something too with Trevor Story. Like, a lot of people are going to float that narrative. The people who want to crap on the signing or whatever it was that weren't fans at the time. That hand injury, and just like Aaron Judge, the Red Sox medical staff fucked it up. They made a mistake. It happens. Like, listen, there's plenty of complaints about them this year, even up until this, where you have, I don't know what the hell happened to Christian Arroyo the last 10 or so days. I know he was
what
sick.
was up with that?
Did he have the plague? Was he's just sitting there. He's just like wasting away a roster spot. You had Trevor Story wait 8 days before going on the IL, but that's been the story this year. That's why I'm not going to sit here and panic about Trevor Story's health long term. This guy has posted his entire career. He, besides 2020, obviously, he played 59 out of 60 that year. He had never played less than, I think, 142 games in a year. I'm not worried about him. He'll be healthy, especially coming off a year like this. I think it's just been a lot of unfortunate kind of situations all the way around here.
Yeah, you got fucking smoked.
I don't know. Mr. Toe Tap, he figured it out, whatever it was, when he did come back, and I think that's what you should hold on to. It's just that DH spot, I think that will be a major conversation point, and it's just, how do they kind of go about that? Because they need a middle of the order bat. They need someone to be kind of to give you something there. Maybe, Triston Casas, we're seeing, I think, the plate approach that you're hoping for, but you can't put that kind of weight on him next year. You need another legit bat that's the middle of the order type.
And we'll get into that. I'm excited for this offseason. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised at what the Red Sox do this winter.
I agree.
I know Maz has a hard-on for Edwin Diaz. That's what he wants to do. I was talking to Jay Stu before I went on the air.
He brought that up to me today.
Huh?
Me and Jay Stu were talking. We have our little baseball talks during Zone Bertrand while he's doing his production work. He'll come over and float me. And he actually brought up Edwin Diaz to me today. And I like Edwin Diaz. I don't think here is going to be the spot for him.
No. I don't think the Mets let him go.
No.
But Jimmy was like, yeah, Maz's new thing is he wants Edwin Diaz. And I was like, I wouldn't give a fuck if the Red Sox sign Edwin Diaz. Like, on all the options, all the things that the Red Sox could do that would get us excited. Like, yeah, okay. Like, electric closer. But you're throwing a cup of water at a burning building if Edwin Diaz is your big offseason signing. Like, sick. You have a closer. Sick. You need starters. And maybe Rodon, like, does Rodon do it for you? It's a great first step in the right direction. Like, what's Rodon even doing this year?
Oh, if you want to go and look at something beautiful, go look at Carlos Rodon's stat page this year. You will feel it move. I promise you.
Okay.
And
Rodon,
look at just going back to last year, the last 2 years.
League best FIP, league best strikeout per 9, 172 innings, 227 tickets, 298 ERA to go along with the 234 FIP, a whip that's almost under 1. Yeah, that's nice.
Like, for a guy that was as great as he was last year, he's been even better this year.
Yeah. I mean, does that worry you at all? Because he didn't do dog shit for 2019, 2020 innings wise.
Yeah, I think it's something you got to throw in there and be like, all right, for a rotation that already has injury concerns, would anyone bat an eyelash if we get into spring training and wherever Rodon is and something's wrong with him? No. Like, he has an injury history, and it's how many guys can the Red Sox play that game with this year? Like, do you want their guy, their next ace front of the rotation guy to be someone who, is on the older side? He's definitely not young at this point. He's in the middle of his career. He's going to be 30 next year. Are you looking for a younger, controllable pitcher to kind of lead your rotation?
He signed a 1-year deal
with an option. It had an option for this upcoming season as well.
Why would he sign a 1-year deal coming off that season that he had with the fucking White Sox?
Because he had the QO on him, I believe. And the second thing was the injury concerns. A lot of teams were scared to give him money because at the end of last year, remember, he wasn't right come postseason time. I think he made 24 starts on the season.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that were like, all right, he's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the White Sox didn't extend the qualifying offer to him last year.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, this is a dude that had a career ERA of a little more than, like, call it 4.25 through his first 5-6 big league seasons. So he didn't have his first breakout season until he was 28. So,
and he high pedigree guy, like, we're talking 3rd overall pick.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you sign him, you're signing him for his age 30 season and beyond.
Which, if we're talking Chaim Bloom and a lot of forward-thinking front offices,
yeah, they don't like that.
They don't like that. And we know, obviously, David Price being here, that's really the last contract you've kind of given out in that light. Mm-hmm. A big-time deal. Maybe, Rodon's probably somewhere, closer to Price than Evaldi, but he's not going to get 7 years. It'd probably be something like Gausman got. And that's the question where you sit and say, well, what have we shit on the Red Sox all year for? It's that. It's that they didn't go and get a Kevin Gausman. Could you picture Carlos Rodon being the Kevin Gausman the Red Sox were hoping to have this year?
I mean, the fact that, like, if you could have signed Kevin Gausman, you could have signed Kevin Gausman going into this year and then matched him up with Rodon this year.
Now
you could add them both. Well,
that's why, I don't know if you've seen it, Jared. I've been floating these, like, rotations out on Twitter just randomly. I'll just kind of put 5 or 6 guys that I look at. Like, I threw a Chris Bassett one together, which, in my opinion, if Chris Bassett's your ace, you're in some trouble already. He should not be the first guy on your staff. Your number 2, you can get by on a really great top World Series contender staff. He's your 3. I was like, if you got Bassett, you had Waka, you had Pivetta is like your 6th starter / depth guy, and it was something of Bayo and Whitlock and Sale. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, would that be enough for you? For me personally, it was a no, and I felt like a lot of the responses, people were like, I need something more. I need a little more juice at the front of the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, this is where Chaim is supposed to shine. Like, what holy shit trade Has Heim made in the parts of 4 years, 19, 20, 22, parts of 4 seasons that he's been here? I mean, the only holy shit one was Mookie Betts going out.
Yeah,
who's coming in?
Exactly, where you're the buyer. You need to be the shark in this situation, and that's where it's like, would he say, fuck it, I want Zach Gallen? Would he say, fuck it, I want Pablo Lopez? Hey, Yankees, you guys couldn't get it done. We're going to go get it done. And then you kind of balance the question. It's like, none of the free agent starters really match up really well for them, but they have money. Are they going to trade their prospects out and kind of go that route? Are they willing to give up a serious package? Which, I'll be honest, I have some concerns a little bit because the farm system is going to look a little different because you had Bayo graduate, Duran graduated this year. So you've lost some names as guys came up this year. I wonder where they're going to end up ranking overall. And you've definitely had some other guys surprise and come up, Miguel Blaze of the world, that are kind of lighting the world on fire. But even Nick York, who was kind of one of your bigger names, he fell out of the top 100 for most prospect lists. He really struggled this year in high A. So where do they feel they think the farm system's in a good place to kind of be more flexible handing out money? Do they feel good enough about it to go make a big time trade? At least that's going to get them a controllable starter.
That has to be part of the offseason. Like you're not gonna buy yourself back into contention next year because most of the money that you're gonna have to spend this winter is on guys that were already here this year for the last place season that you just finished in. So if you're gonna be bringing in talent from other organizations, yeah, that's going to have to come in the form of a nuts on the table type trade for old Heim, which, people want to say, oh, we haven't seen him spend money, Trevor Story, but like what else? We haven't seen him make a nuts on the table trade. Like this is the Boston Red Sox. Like I was saying to Maz, like back in my day, trying to tell Tony, it's like back in my day, if the Red Sox had a fucking problem, they needed a frontline starter. They needed a closer. They went out and signed the best closer and traded for fucking Kurt Schilling. Like that's how they fixed their problems. And that was coming off a season that they were 5 outs away from the World Series. This team's in last place. So, no, you've got guys here that you've identified as players that you want to keep here long term. Great. But they were already here and you're in last place. So you've got to figure out a way to keep them here. And then surround them with some pitching. I was going to say starting pitching, but it's just pitching because they can't. It's just not sustainable to go out there and score 9 fucking runs a night. It's just not. It's just not how you. It's not winning baseball formula.
They need to go and find. They need at least 6 starters going into next season, without a doubt. And if that means Nick Pavetta's in the bullpen or maybe Garrett Whitlock's in the bullpen, however it ends up playing out and they want to go about it. I know a lot of people, they get so mad when I say that stuff. I'm going off what Alex Cora and the Red Sox are saying. Like last time Alex Cora spoke about Garrett Whitlock, he told you, I think a guy's a lot more valuable when he can give you 15 to 18 outs than when he can give you a roll out of the bullpen 3 or 4 times a week. That's what he thought. If they're going to go that route with all this different stuff, you're going to need beyond the 5 stars because you can't depend on Chris Sale to give you anything. He's in there, you're going to have to pencil him in, but you need at least 6 starters. I think you're in good shape with Cutter Crawford. Cutter Crawford's a guy, had that great, what was it, like 8 start stretch in July into August that we all were feeling pretty good about. Josh Winkowski, he's Josh Winkowski, but you got Brian Mata, who's up on the taxi squad right now, kind of adjusting. You're going to have some depth there. I think you just need a little bit more. Just be willing to go out. You need to go get pitching. Go get a frontline guy. And then I think you can kind of figure out the middle to the back. I think you got a lot of options in that spot.
Please, God, no.
God, no. What? Whitlock?
No, I'm just saying, like out of all the options that we've discussed here, if we're still talking Winkowski, Cutter, Rich Hill, who said he wants to come back and wouldn't mind if it was here. Like if we're talking about that, we've already fucked up. Like I don't want any of those dudes. No respect to, I like Cutter Crawford. I love Rich Hill.
He deserves a little more love. I think Cutter deserves more. Winkowski, yeah, I'll hold Winkowski's head under the water. I'm fine with that. That's not going to bother me. Rich Hill, thank you. We appreciate it. It's been fun. I've enjoyed the Rich Hill experience. Cutter Crawford showed you something this year. There was a real stretch. I don't think you can depend on him to be a 30-start guy. Basically, what everyone always thought was going to happen to him happened. He ran out of gas and he got injured. He had a shoulder impingement. He'll be in your bullpen next year. I think if that's one of your guys, like if you lose a starter or two and you lean on him, that's okay. But there should be a wall of, you need another starter, another proven guy that can come in that situation before you get to that level. And I think that's something, listen, no team's going to survive 4 starters going down, like what happened to the Red Sox this year. If that happens again next year, they're probably going to be in a pretty similar spot. But the hope is you have just you need another arm that fills that Chris Sale kind of scary factor. Because like we saw, the season ended the day he got hurt. That's what it was. You need break the fire alarm, pull this out if something goes wrong. And they didn't have that this year.
I saw people jumping on that bandwagon. I think that were they talking about that on the broadcast about how the season ended when Chris Sale got hurt?
Yes, which I feel like a lot of people were at that time. That was not I know I was very negative after that. I think that was like my opening line when we came on that for that episode. But I don't know. I think that is where your season went wrong. You were drowning at that point. Things were already bad, but your life raft popped. that was the it.
I think Eck had pointed out how their record the 2 weeks leading up to that was kind of dog shit.
Do you remember that Rays series when Sale did make the start, which they blew that game?
They lost, yeah.
But that was
Tuesday night.
Yeah, you had the Franchi error. Remember where he threw the ball home for whatever reason it was when it should have been dead. That was like that whole series, and Sale was like the one bright spot you had at that time. It was like, all right, like he's here, and then Story dies, Strom dies, we all die.
Yeah. Oh, what a world. What a world. I mean, it doesn't even feel like Chris Sale pitched this year.
No.
Like it doesn't, like in my mind, Chris Sale is a mythical creature. Like I remember 18. Not a ton of Chris Sale memories. Like he pitched in the playoffs for the Red Sox last year. I'm just like, he's like the Undertaker at WrestleMania. You see him once a year. He just comes back for that one big match every year, and then he goes away. That's Chris Sale. And I love, like, it's still, to me, I don't know how you guys feel, it's still like a spectacle to me, like Sale Day. And I know the people that hate the Red Sox, I've seen it all over Twitter. Like, Chris Sale hasn't been good in 4 years. Like, why? I don't know why you guys get all excited for Sale Day. He hasn't been a good pitcher in 4 years. It's like, well, he's still Chris Sale. Like, it's still like the arm angle. It's the slider. It's the fastball. It's the changeup. Like,
it's the maniac. It's the guy walking off the mound last year in the playoffs with nothing. He's throwing fucking shit out there. He has a 97 mile per hour fastball, and that's it. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs in pure anger and energy because he wants to compete so badly.
Yeah.
That's the guy we all fell in love with. I hate it because I feel very Dustin Pedroia-esque lately on that front where it's like days are going by and as time goes by, you start, Chris Sale doesn't have, that's the one thing you can say that like Pedroia had a chronic injury that just wasn't going to get better. Everything that's happened to Sale theoretically should be better by the time spring training rolls around. He has no long-term chronic issue. It's all been, Tommy John surgery, elbow's good. Okay, well, we get here, it's a broken finger, it's a broken wrist, and a fractured rib. All those things heal. Having no cartilage in your knee doesn't heal.
No. He had a dead person's kneecap.
Last time I checked, everything's alive on Chris Sale.
Yeah.
For now.
But
can I play a game with you, Jared?
Sure.
If there was a world where they talk to Chris Sale and they're like, we don't think at this point, you haven't pitched considerable innings since 2019. Can we even really expect, more than 100 to 120 innings out of you next year? how do you feel about working out of the bullpen? We're willing to put you in the bullpen and use you in a different kind of role. Maybe it'd be multi-innings, something like a Garrett Whitlock role, or maybe it would be going back to his rookie season. Do you think that's something they should even think about or consider at this point?
No. I don't think so. I think how you manage Chris Sale is you build a rotation as if he's not there. And you're not going to get 5 aces if you build a rotation of 5 guys that don't consist of Chris Sale being there. But you build a rotation without him. Whoever that 5th guy is, he can spend some time in the bullpen. Because you're riding Chris Sale until the wheels fall off. Like, he's not making 32 starts. He's not pitching 200 innings. You said 100, 120. I would be stoked if I got 100 innings out of Chris Sale next year. 100 on like the lower end of the spectrum. If I'm getting 100 innings, fine. If he can give me, 5 innings a start for the first 2.5 months, and then we lose him for another 2 months, but then he's ready to go by the postseason. Best case scenario. Like, best case scenario for me, I'm still having Chris Sale down for 2+ months during the season at some point. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not trying to insult the guy. I love Chris Sale. It's just, it is what it is. And I think even he would acknowledge that the Red Sox would be naive and stupid to plan their 2023 roster with him factoring in at all. Like, he is the bonus body. That's what I said about this year. Like, this is not a new stance for me. But you have your 5th, you have your swing guy, you have your Cutter Crawford. I'm not saying it should be Cutter Crawford, but you have a guy like Cutter Crawford.
Call it him / Nick Pivetta, like a combination of them two.
Sure. But I mean, the thing that I like about Nick Pivetta is he takes the ball. Like, he takes the ball. So yeah, if you go into it being like, yeah, like Cutter Crawford's our 5. Oh, we have Chris Sale. All right, well, Cutter Crawford's now our swing man. Great. You can give us some innings out of the bullpen. I think that's what you do. But I don't think that they're being held hostage by Chris Sale, but it certainly feels like they have to plan around disaster, like impending disaster, as it pertains to Chris Sale every year until the contract expires. You have to plan a roster that, like, you're the Titanic going out there knowing that you have to hit the iceberg. How do you deal with it once you do? Like, what is your plan for once you do hit it? Because you're going to hit it. And that's the Red Sox with Chris Sale.
It's a massive boot and your nuts are hanging there. And at some point, it's most likely going to hit you. Mm-hmm. You just don't know when.
Yeah. And the craziest part about this year is that it wasn't even the shoulder or the elbow or the fucking whatever. He got smoked by a comebacker. And then he was going to come back. And then he got hurt off the field. And Pat Light convinced me because I was dumb and I was like, all right, yeah, he fell off a bike. That's ridiculous. How embarrassing. Pat Light pretty much convinced me into believing that there's no way that story is true. And obviously nothing has come out since, and nothing will, because whatever happened, he was probably the only person there, or maybe he and his wife were the only people that were there, or his close friends. Who knows? Who knows what really happened? We don't necessarily need to know it. As long as he's ready to go on opening day, I don't need to know what happened. I really don't. Am I interested? Would I listen if he was like, hey, do you want to know what happened? I'd be like, yeah, tell me what happened. But am I going to go looking for it? No. Do I need to know? No. I just pulled Tyler there by asking myself questions.
Fuck. Go fuck yourself.
It's true. It's true. That's now known as a Milliken.
I don't do that.
You do.
I'm sorry.
Do I do that?
On the subreddit.
No. Am I someone that asks myself questions? No. Is it something that crossed my mind sometimes? Maybe.
Have I done it this episode? I'm not asking the question to me. I'm asking.
Okay.
Please.
Have you done it this episode? No. Is it something that's going to happen before the episode's over? I can't answer that.
Do you do it a
lot?
Subreddit. Way too
Maybe.
much.
I mean, don't get frustrated. It's just one of those things that you just, it's part of who you are. You have to, are you afraid to embrace yourself? I hope not.
I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Good.
I will say on the Chris Sale thing, it bothers me a little bit that he never addressed what happened. For someone who considers themselves an ace and a leader on this team, it is kind of weird that it happened.
What's he going to do? I don't even think he wasn't in Boston at the time.
No, but I think there's ways, whether it's talking to media or putting out a statement, just being like, this happened. Like, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. Like, I'll be back for 2022. For nothing to come out. Like, I think what I loved about Chris Sale so much is always the accountability with him. It's always been that way, where he's not afraid to answer the media and be real.
Well, that's going to be day one spring training when he shows up.
Which I hate, because I don't want to bring any of this into next year. Like, I want it all gone. And he was supposed to come back.
I don't even think it's like bringing negativity into the next year. I think it's just like, it's the same thing that happened to Alex Verdugo. Guy shows up day one of spring training. He's asking questions. He's being asked questions about shit that happened several years prior.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with Sale, it's like he was supposed to come back, as we saw for the last series. He was going to be here to be in the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's not going to happen, considering everything that's happened down in Florida right now.
His wife just posted and said that they had no power yesterday. Nice. No power. Their no cell phone service. They said that they're okay, but there are parts near them that are apocalyptic, essentially.
Yeah.
And they are living off a generator right now.
And that shit's more important than obviously coming back and being around the team right now for whatever these games are. We don't even want to be here. But I would like to hear what happened at some point. I would like to hear it addressed, just because.
Well, he ain't going to tell us now. He's not going to be like, yeah, that whole bike story was fake. I think if he retires.
Just lie to me. I'm okay if you lie to me. I want to hear from you. I just want to hear. I haven't heard from you since any of this happened.
Yeah.
Just talk to me.
Speaking of hearing from guys, Florida guys. When I was in the dugout on Tuesday,
mm-hmm.
I went up to JD, and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "What's new? What's been new?" I was like, "Nothing really, same shit." That's good. Yeah. I was like, if this is it, I feel like if you're going to do something with anyone, it's going to have to be me. He's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I was like, if this is the end, like I kind of want to do like a little like reflection piece with you. He's like, well, I don't know if it's the end. I'm like, well, okay, well, either way, it could be. Like, we can't bank on you being back next year. I would say odds are against it. So it would be nice to kind of reflect on the good times, the bad times. He's like, okay. So I got to follow up on that, but the seed has been planted to maybe do something with Julio before the year is done. And I was like, bro, it's been like 4 years. It's been like 4 years since we've done something. Like, damn, it's been a long time. I was like, yeah, it's almost been 4 years to the day. It was that interview, I believe, was during their team workouts before game one of the division series against the Yankees in 2018. So yeah, I would like to sit down with it. I feel like a lot has changed for both of us since that inning. A lot since that interview. A lot's changed. So I think that would be an interesting conversation. So I'm gonna follow up with him maybe this weekend, because all we got left is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Yeah, we were talking about maybe going to New York to do something with the Mets. But if I can get like a JD, like all encompassing, like Boston reflection piece, I'd much rather do that.
I'm not concerned. That's not the right word, but I anticipate it being the most emotional interview I think you've ever done.
Very fair. Yeah. The Plawecki one, would have been more emotional, I think, if it were in person. But like the fact that it was over Riverside, at least there was like a little bit of an emotional shield there. I'm trying to think what else would have come close.
I just think with JD, like the way you've spoken about how you feel he played such a big role in terms of you connecting with this, I guess, generation of the Red Sox clubhouse and everything. Like you guys identify so much on that level.
Yeah.
Like you said, how much has changed in the 4 years since then.
Yeah. Like there's just certain guys that like, I don't know if you guys can relate, but like there's like you have your circle of friends, right? And you have your like weird dynamic it's almost like a fingerprint. Like when I'm with this guy, I act this way. When I'm with this guy, I have this sense of humor. When I'm with that guy, we talk like this. With JD, I think our dynamic is the closest to like who I really am.
You don't have to pretend to be someone. You're not putting up your social, public kind of appearance.
Yep. Like when it's just me and him and we're just bullshitting, just talking, whether it's baseball or like life, I feel like in terms of interactions with players in the league, that's about like the closest to like the real Jared that you're going to get. And it's not that I'm like phony with guys. It's just that you're just more comfortable being your complete self around certain people, not just players, but like in your everyday life, you're more comfortable as yourself around certain people than other people. And like, I've just kind of always been my closest version to myself around him. So yeah, I think it'd be a good interview. Obviously, I've seen pretty much every single pitch that he's taken or swung at since he came to the Red Sox. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that this weekend, and hopefully we can do that. Because even if it doesn't happen like in person, I think that's something that like I'll fucking make him do it this offseason. Like there will be a kind of a conclusion, like what's that called? An exit interview. There will be an exit interview.
So my question is, would you rather do it when there's an openness to whether he could still be here, or would you rather do it when you know if he's not coming back? Like if it's like, all right, I know the Red Sox, they didn't give me a QO. It doesn't look like it's really going to work out. I'm going to have to go another route. Would you rather do it that way, or would you, do you care if the door's closed all the way, I guess?
I think I would rather it be before, like, let's say hypothetically he signs with a new team. I don't think he's going to be as like sentimental and mushy about his time in Boston if he's trying to endear himself to a brand new fan base.
You want the wounds to be fresh.
I want the trip down memory lane to be authentic, and I want it to be pure and sentimental. Yeah, I still like, let's just say the Red Sox offer him like 1 year, $3 million. I want him to still have some sort of fondness towards the organization when we have this conversation. So,
Matt Strom deal.
Yeah.
Also, Matt Strom. Whatever your idea is to become a starter, someone in your life needs to talk to you, because if you think that's what you need to do, you have the wrong people around you.
Yeah.
I've had to get that off my chest. He's given up a run in his last 4 outings. It's really
and bombs too.
They're like big bombs.
His last 2 outings, I think he's given up homers, right?
Yeah, that sounds.
Were they
right.
both to Santander?
I believe so. He just absolutely owned the Red Sox in this series. Yeah. I do want you to expand on... I saw you getting some pushback on your slandering of Kaleb Ort. People are not...
People push back on that?
I saw some tweets. I think they are more maybe because I lean on the Bluminati side, but that you were a little tough on Kaleb Ort at times.
I mean, he seems like... it's because it seems like he's a nice guy, but he also is just like... the quintessential put him in to get the game over with guy. Like, when has he ever come in to a game and impressed you? Ever?
All right. I will say that series against the Yankees, there was a second. Listen, I don't believe in Kaleb Ort long term. I think he's at best a quadruple A reliever. But when he hit 101 out there, never doing that before, I was like, all right, you see.
He hit 101?
Yeah, 100.7. So they rounded up to 101.
Huh.
But he did that against the Yankees, and I was like, whoa. He looked okay today. He locked it down, but I don't know. He's no Zach Kelly. I'll put it like that. I'm a big Zach Kelly guy.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't like picking on guys, but it's just that time of the year. It's just that time of the year. You can't go out there and just make shitty games even shittier. Like, I'm fine with losing games at this point of the year, but when you go out there and make these losses longer, like, I don't have shit to do. Kaleb Ort. Like, what was the game that he came in and gave up the walk off on the first pitch?
That was in New York.
Okay.
Or it was one batter after. He had, whoever it was, he intentionally walked.
Yeah.
I will say, whatever, it was the first game of this series where he came in after, what was it? I think it was after Kelly, and he gave up the 2 bombs in the same inning in the first game. I was like, all right, let's anything but that, please. And please spare me of any Kaleb Ort appearances from this point forward.
And here's the thing. I'm not a mean guy. And Kaleb Ort is probably going to be like a fucking co-host on this podcast someday. When you're that bad and I end up just riding you, 9 times out of 10, you end up being a co-host on the show.
Get up Pat Light, Caleb.
Yeah. Just, if you're Kaleb Ort and you're listening to the show right now and you're like, how do I get this guy to be nice to me? Call Pat Light. Like, there's a way out of it. I'm not a mean guy. I just, when you suck so bad that you deprive me of happiness, that's kind of on you. That's you. You got to own that. Maybe he is one of those guys. Like, there are guys that are like, listen, you don't need to tell me that I suck. I know that I suck. There's no one that's harder on me than me. So I don't need you tweeting about me sucking, because I know that I suck and I see my texts and my fucking Instagram messages and everything else. Like, these guys know that they suck when they suck. But I think what it could be, because I have this problem with Dave, is I think 2017, we just started Starting 9. And Dave had me on radio. And he was like, here's our idiot baseball guy. And I was like, Dave. And this is like a private conversation. This was like an off the air thing. I was like, Dave, I know that you're joking. Like, you're not hurting my feelings with your jokes. But when you call me an idiot baseball guy, your stupid fans believe you. They're like, oh, Dave thinks that he's a stupid idiot baseball guy, then he must be an idiot baseball guy. Dave said it. So, like, that, it's kind of the same thing. Like, if I were Kaleb Ort, it's like, yeah, I've been having a rough stretch, but I throw 101. Like, I don't suck. So when this guy tweets that I suck, then all these Red Sox fans are going to just think that I suck because Jared said that I suck. Like, so I get it. I get it, Kaleb. I'll be nicer. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to Kaleb Ort.
Wow. That was
I
humble.
apologize. I'm fucking sorry. Thank you.
If Pete and Pat were here, it'd be more than just one person clapping. Thank you for leaving me out hanging there, Jake. Very appreciated. Yep, thank you. I will say, Kaleb reminds me a lot of Ryan Brazier. I mean, the stuff will pop at times, but God help him if someone squares the ball up. He's baby Brazier.
Well, that was the other night. It was what? Fucking Tuesday night.
Yeah, I got it right here. It was
what's his line?
Went deep. Hold on.
Everybody did.
Yeah, basically. It was, 1 inning. He gave up 2 blasts, 3 earned runs total, 2 hits, and he pushed him to a 6.39 ERA at the time.
Yeah.
Not good.
But I apologize.
Thank you. Did you listen to the Triston Casas interview with Bradford?
No.
I will say, if you're looking to hear kind of just what his mind is like and the kind of guy he is, I thought it was fascinating. I've never heard in recent years a rookie so comfortable talking in the big league level. I think if you're looking for something to compare Jarren Duran, who said he came up here and he was like unable to be himself, like he was such a loud and passionate guy at AAA, Casas is the opposite, dude. He's talking about, first off, went on this whole rant about how impressive Garrett Cole is and how much like over the years he envisioned hitting home runs, like dating back to the day he signed the contract with the Yankees. He was like, I started envisioning hitting home runs off of him because I knew he was going to be on the Yankees when I got to the big leagues. Like going deep into that, like joking about getting tattoos because he's going to be playing winter ball this year down in the Dominican. I would describe, like, if you're looking for a guy to become your new favorite player, it's him. He's like Dustin Pedroia, but a little less prickly. Like, that's exactly how I would like describe it. Same confidence, just a little bit, you know, Dustin Pedroia is my favorite player of all time, just a little less rough around the edges. And the man has has as many walks as strikeouts right now in the big leagues. So one of the best plate approaches already you're seeing in the majors.
I was talking to him a little bit about his experience in the big leagues. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's fucking big leagues. Like, it's different. It's different up here than it is down there. So he's making that adjustment, but it was the same thing that I tweeted the other night. If he doesn't swing, probably a ball. Like we talked about that. I think it was Nestor. Was it Nestor?
Yeah, that was the one where they screwed him over, and then the last pitch was like, you know, right down the dick, basically.
So we talked about that at bat specifically. I was like, yeah, I mean, the count was 4-0, and then he threw one right down the dick, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I was just so flustered by the last two calls that like I didn't even process that pitch was right over the plate. Yeah, we can get him on. I think next year we're gonna have more guests, more help behind the scenes. We'll be able to bring you shit like that. There's no reason why we can't, especially like I have most of the equipment, so that's what I want to do.
I will also add the fact that Casas is already under Dan Shaughnessy's skin is also a huge plus to me. Where Shaughnessy's sobbing, saying he hates his like behavior with the umps and how he's like a crybaby. He tried to call him the Grant Williams of the Red Sox because he's always kind of he's basically saying he shows up the ump. I haven't seen it that way one bit. I think he's extremely respectful. It's like Aaron Judge almost esque a little bit, where like, you know, obviously if you don't like a call, you're kind of going to sit there, but he never barks. You know what I mean? But anyone who bothers Shaughnessy is good in my book. 860 OPS.
Like Bryce Harper, when he first came up, would argue with umpires over balls and strikes and whatever calls. Like he would actually like get in their face and stuff. That is nothing close to what Casas has done.
Exactly. This isn't a guy who's chirping or whatever. Like, yeah, if he sits there and he doesn't like a call, he'll, you know, kind of look around, be like, not great. But that's being respectful. He's not chirping. He's not bitching the whole time. I don't know. I think he has lived up. As great as Brian Bayo has been, and I love what I've seen out of Brian Bayo, what I'm seeing out of Casas is like, dude, like this is going to be a guy who's going to own baseball for a while. Since he came up, since his debut, he has the second highest walk rate in all of the major leagues. Do you know who number one is, Jared?
Well, Joey Votto has been hurt.
Yep.
Fucking Aaron Judge.
That's it. And who's number 3? Freddie Freeman. The guy who him and Joey Votto are his parents. Those are the guys he gets comped to.
Yeah.
That's what you have on your hands here.
It's pretty good.
And you somehow got him and Bayo coming up in the same year, a front of the rotation guy in a franchise cornerstone position.
And the thing about like Casas walking so much has nothing to do with pitchers being afraid of him yet. That's just his strike zone awareness. Imagine when they actually start figuring out that all he does is crush homers.
Even like the power he's hitting for 5 homers in 22 games. He didn't always hit for consistent power in the minors. That was like the last part of his game that was supposed to come together here. It was like, oh no, he's going to hit a ton of doubles and line drives and work walks, but the power is a little inconsistent. Dude has 5 jacks in 22 games. Power's here. He loves that monster already. He'd even square up that ball today. Just kiss it right off the monster. He's going to make that monster his bitch over the years.
I'm excited for it.
That's why we're optimistic for 2023.
And because they're going to sign Aaron Judge.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of equipment, though, we got to talk to you about Win Reality. The VR baseball training application available on the MetaQuest 2 that gives players access to unlimited game speed reps no matter where they are. You can even use your own bat. I'm actually, I said this before, but I'm ordering one of those like old like Ken Griffey Jr. black plastic bats for it because I want to make sure that my bat speed's on point when I'm just like absolutely hammering tanks off these 10-year-olds. But you can use a bat, like a real bat. You can use a wood bat, you can use a metal bat, whatever bat you actually use in a game, you can use with this. Just kind of like wraps around it. It's pretty cool. The Win Reality Pitcher Library consists of 600 plus pitches from 8 and under to pro. From the release, the spin to the speed, hitters get a chance to hit to study every pitch and then hit in the real game. Win Reality gives players of all levels a variety of workouts that are focused on pitch recognition, timing, and decision making. It's also like I feel like you would do something like this, Tyler. Like I feel like you would just like sit on the fucking couch and not even necessarily try and hit these pitches. But I was saying on Baseball is Dead today that I obviously started out trying to hit them by being in the batter's box. But then after a while, I just kind of like crouched down where the catcher would be to look at it that way. I feel like that's something that you would do. Like you would want to like try and like learn like pitch recognition.
I would love that. I would love any of that. Like just watching. I was like Blaze Jordan was uploading those videos last offseason. I'd sit there. I was like, this is incredible. Like that they're inventing things like this where you can get the work in and like guys actually are into it.
Right.
And you know, talking to one of the best backup catchers at the 8th grade level back in 2012. I love to track pitches. I'd love to sit behind there and just get a feel for what guys are throwing.
You know what? Anytime you want to track pitches and drink some Blue Moons, you let me know.
I got you. We could take some swings.
Yeah. That'd actually be great. I
will tell you, my stance is a combination of Jason Varitek and Mike Lowell. That's kind of how I from the right side. So
where are your hands? Jason Varitek was a high hands guy. Lowell was like a little bit lower and like more out. Jason was more like in and up. Lowell was more out and
exactly. I'd call it basically the Jason Varitek like body like positioning, but my hands were closer to Lowell, which explains.
Are you righty or lefty?
Righty.
So I feel like Jason was what? He was higher righty maybe, and he was more like Mike Lowell, like lower and out on the left side. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
I'm gonna look that up right now. Jason Varitek stance.
Trying to get a picture of it right here. I was a third baseman by design, but due to some mechanical flaws, unfortunately, I had to make some adjustments.
It's a game of adjustments.
Oh, Tech's hands were a little higher than I remember from the left side, actually.
Yeah. I loved his swing.
It was beautiful. All I wanted to do was be Jason Varitek, and I was just Kevin Plawecki.
I was told that there's a chance that we might be able to get Jason Varitek. I don't believe that.
Why? Do you think he just wouldn't be into this kind of thing?
I think if he were to do any type of, I say this about everybody. I think if he were to do any type of long form media, that it would be with me. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he has a guy in media right now. Like, I feel like I would be his guy, but I still don't think he would do it.
I can't picture him like wanting to open up for like a long, like I could picture him doing like 20 minutes or like something like that. And like, you know, fire your shots, whatever you got to say. But like, would he sit here for an hour and a half and shoot the breeze? I don't know. But I know you're close with his wife. I have a history with his wife on Twitter.
Does she not like you?
No, we follow each other. We're cool. But there was a funny time before I even was at the Sports Hub back in 2020. Or no, it was probably right after I got to the Sports Hub, actually, where that whole end of the year, I was speculating very heavy. I thought that Jason Varitek was going to be the bench coach for the 2021 Red Sox. Obviously, he ended up a different role in the dugout, but I was tweeting that a lot. She actually quote tweeted me one time. It was like, "What are you eating? Crayons or something like that?" And then I was like, I don't know. I just think it. Obviously, he ended up in the dugout. It wasn't exactly, but I thought it was pretty close. But months later, as I started growing on Twitter, she ended up following me, and I was very appreciative of it. And like, I used to post all those throwback videos, and she was like, "Thank you for posting these. Like, these are so awesome." She was super nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was always a little bit of a funny story of how things played out there.
It would be very funny because I mean, if Jason came on, Catherine would not be far away, and I don't think that she would be able to resist not grabbing a mic at some point. Like, she's got shit to say. And
listen, here, this is the place to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I listen. Would love to have him on. Would love to be able to do that interview. I think it would be one of the biggest that we've ever been able to do. I just really have my doubts if that's something that he's actually interested in.
Work your magic, Jared.
I mean, I've been hearing about it for literally, I want to say since, I don't know, 2017, 2018 was the first time that this came up. But it just seems like we're getting closer.
Was it a fuck no back then? Like, not in a disrespectful way, but like, just I'm not here for it.
Just like, it wasn't like a no to me. It was like a no, I'm not interested in doing something like that.
Not into that stuff.
Yeah. But now I think like the relationship building is there. So, and the fact that like one of the biggest surprises I think that no one really talks about is that Jason was essentially behind the home run cart. Yes. Like, he's usually like Mr. Buttoned Up, Mr. Professional, Mr. Flat Top, Mr. Business, Mr. Soft Spoken, Mr. Keep to Himself. And then he's like, you know what? After we hit home runs, let's get in the fucking laundry cart. So, like he definitely has that side to him.
That was my biggest regret from the Kevin Plawecki interview, that I didn't ask that question. I wanted to ask him how was it becoming close with Tech, him bringing you in on that, and like just to have that respect of that guy, like that's fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That was my biggest regret from when we did the Plawecki.
Yeah. Well, we can always get him back.
There'll be a day.
Yeah, he might be a host someday. Why not? We're almost at the offseason.
We got Clark's Ketchup.
Oh yeah, Clark's Ketchup Series MVP. Red Sox took 3 out of 4. Am I the only one that fucking picked that? I picked 3 out of 4.
Fuck off, Jake. Fuck off. You clapped for that, but you won't clap earlier?
I mean, that deserves a clap.
Thank you. I was told I was too positive, too optimistic. And at the end of the day, I was just too smart. I was too smart. And that's how I ended up picking the series correctly. 3 out of 4 for the Red Sox. Who's like us? There was no standout in that series.
I think there's 2.
JD
and Triston Casas. It's those 2. Casas reached base at least twice in every single game.
Mm-hmm.
JD, 2 homers, had a hit in every single game. But I think if we look at the numbers, they're probably at least somewhat in the same ballpark.
I mean, JD had some hustle doubles.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that home run went on Lansdowne Street, right?
Both of them did.
Damn. I don't know. I might be leaning Julio here because just for the fact that he was legging out doubles and he managed to hit home runs. Plural. Triston Casas hit 538 in this series with a 1513 OPS.
Dude's walking and walking and walking.
His on-base percentage in this series was .667. The only thing that JD has him in is slugging percentage. They both played in all 4 games. They both had 18 plate appearances. Look at this. They both had 18 plate appearances. Triston Casas saw 12 more pitches than JD did. They have the exact same strikeout percentage, but JD's walk rate, 5.6%. Casas, 27.8%.
I think the only player to have this many walks through the same amount of games is Adam Dunn. And the Red Sox now have the highest OBP in baseball this month.
Because of Casas.
Playing a big role.
In 4 games, he walked 5 times. Scored 6 runs. JD scored 5 runs. They both drove in 3 runs. They both struck out twice. JD, 16 total bases. Casas, 11 total bases. JD grounded into 2 double plays. Casas grounded into 1. JD had 7. They both had 7 hits. They both had 7 hits. 5 singles, a double, and a homer for Casas. 2 singles, 3 doubles, and 2 homers for JD.
I will say, very good defense at first base. Obviously had a little bobble after he almost turned that incredible double play today. But overall, been very impressive at first base as well.
I would agree with that. This is a tough one. I got to call Coley.
Get him on the line. You're putting your vote in for Julio?
I'm undecided at the moment.
Okay, I'll wait as well.
Yeah, there's too much pressure.
I will say, shout out to Coley's new show with Steve Smith. Incredible.
Yeah, I haven't listened yet. I'm going to. I'm a good friend. Did he not fucking answer last time either?
Nope, he was dead.
That was also like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's
Your call has been
the fuck, Coley. It was way later last time.
It's only 10:15.
It's 10:15. Come on.
Maybe we'll get a text.
Let's just say we better.
Or what?
Can
Can you call Matt Barnes?
Yeah, I could.
I will say, shout out to Matt Barnes for receiving a higher grade on his podcast performance this year than me, putting in the work. Quite impressive.
Well, unless Coley calls back, we're going to have to start the voting. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Again, they both played all 4 games. Are we really? They both had 7 hits. But
What's
because
the OPS,
Casas
Jared?
walked so much.
What's the OPS?
But you're like, the OPS looks like what it does because of the walks.
I'm asking for the numbers. I'm not asking for your argument.
Because of the walks.
I love walks. Walks are as good as a hit.
1386 to 1513.
It's a sizable gap.
So you're telling me that walks are king. Same number of hits and more damage for JD. He just didn't walk as much. This all comes. You know what? My vote's for JD.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's because I'm not going to sit here and hand out something as prestigious as the Clark's ketchup. Oh, here comes Coley. All right. Coley. This is fucking crazy what's happening right now with the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP.
How do you figure?
So I'm sitting here talking to Tyler, who you can hear now because we have the technology.
For several of these calls now,
yeah. Yeah. So Triston Casas, 538 batting average, 667 on base, 846 slug for a 1513 OPS. Julio, 412 batting average, 444 on base, but a 941 slug for a 1386 OPS. Now you may be sitting there being like, wow, 538 to 412, 667 to 444. How's this happening? It's because he walked so many fucking times. Let me break it down to you, Coley. They both had 7 hits. Casas, 5 singles, 1 double, 1 homer. JD, 2 singles, 3 doubles, and 2 homers. 16 total bases for Julio, 11 total bases for Casas. But the batting average is higher in the on base. So I just pitched it to Tyler. I said, listen, a vote for Casas is a vote for walks. Like you're saying that walks are more important than doubles and homers. That's not true. A double and a homer is a better outcome than a walk.
I mean, it depends. Homers can kill rallies. I don't know if you've heard.
No, I've heard that. Yeah. I mean, Kevin Millar, if Kevin Millar hit a home run instead of walked, then Dave Roberts doesn't get to steal the base and Bill Miller doesn't get to tie it. And that probably, a Kevin Millar game tying home run probably doesn't fire up the boys the same way that a Bill Miller base hit up the middle after a stolen base does. I think that's fair.
I mean, they would have been furious if he hit that home run.
Furious. I mean, can you imagine how insufferable he would be? He calls that the best walk in the history of baseball. I think if he hit a home run there, my God, there'd be a statue outside.
No doubt.
I think I've made my case. I voted for Julio. I mean, the fucking guy has hit like 3 home runs all year. You hit 2 in this series.
It is suspicious timing. Right before he's about to hit the old free agency, starts cranking dingers. I don't know, Julio.
What do you think?
I mean, you're asking me. It's basically a vote for the past or the future. And I'm a forward thinking man. So I have to go with Triston Casas.
Let's go. Listen, we're talking about some beautiful defense at first. There was a bobble.
Yeah,
today,
the defense matters.
A lot of good defense. JD Martinez came and step out on the field.
JD Martinez literally won the fucking game today. Like we wouldn't be drizzling ketchup if it wasn't for JD Martinez. Like
I think Triston Casas' approach has kind of set the tone for the Red Sox lineup.
No, it hasn't.
I do.
It hasn't.
I saw them drawing quite a lot of walks in that second game because that first homer JD hit. I don't know if you recall, but they lost that game. That was.
But I do recall that he hit the game-winning home run today.
Correct.
Literally, if he does not hit that home run, the Red Sox probably lose that game because they brought in Kaleb Ort in the fucking 9th inning.
Listen, I can't speak to
hypotheticals. A single or a double there. I could have still won the game.
Yeah, but he decided to give an insurance run because Alex Cora was probably like, hey, Julio, just letting you know, we got Ort in the 9th. And he was like, fuck, I got to hammer this one. And then he did. That's a lot of pressure.
I'm going to take more productive and good at bats, working the pitcher more. I think there's just a lot more. There's a lot more levity to what Triston Casas did in this series.
Okay.
Sorry to break out a vocab word like that.
Levity. Jake?
I mean, I low-key feel like Casas deserves it, but I mean, we don't know how many more Clark's ketchups we can give out to JD.
Oh,
that's
we're not
true.
Doing this
That's a good
shit.
point.
Don't do this pity shit.
Casas
No,
is
it's not pity. It's not pity. He had a better series.
You're insulting him.
No, he's not. He literally
Coley?
won the game today.
Coley, doesn't this sound a little like pity? We're giving it just because, we're coming down to the end here.
Yeah, it's not like lifetime achievement ketchup.
Seriously.
Life.
Like, he deserves more respect than that from you guys.
I voted for him because he had the better series.
You're treating him like a dog you're about to put to sleep or something. There's more to life for JD. Might just not be here.
Nah, this is probably it. He's one of those guys that, like, he's like a baseball robot. You take baseball away, he just shuts off.
That robot will function in Seattle.
He's got like fish and pet elephant stuff.
He does have a pet elephant, Dumbo Dong.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make that face for, Tyler?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. Where's this elephant?
I think he met him on an African safari, and now he's his father.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Should get him on the pod.
He obviously doesn't speak English, dude.
Well, his father's there to translate, so I think it'll work out for everybody.
I'm gonna find this picture. Dumbo Dong. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not going to earn any points in this conversation, but it's respectable.
I mean, it has to earn him at least 1 point.
Would that still give him enough, though?
No.
Okay. Then I think me and Coley are on the right page and the same page.
Does Casas have a higher OPS right now than JD for the season?
Probably.
He does.
What the fuck are you laughing at? He obviously, that doesn't count. He doesn't qualify.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't mean to be rude here. JD Martinez has a 774 OPS on the season. We have Triston Casas sitting at 860 at the moment.
Wait, you know what I just realized?
Yeah.
We never finished the Win Reality read. Win Reality is used by a majority of MLB teams, including MLB frontrunner Paul Goldschmidt. It's also used by hundreds of colleges across the nation. Hitters love it. Coaches rave about it. Parents love what it has done for players' enjoyment of baseball. Win Reality isn't a game. It's a revolutionary tool that improves hitting in a real game of baseball. In season, off season, and in any weather, hitters can see increased confidence and improvement at the plate. Win Reality allows players to train anywhere, anytime against game speed pitches their coaches and teammates can't replicate at practice. Train in here and improve their game out there. Players who train with Win Reality acquire skills 7 times faster than traditional training methods. And here's how you get it. You go to WinReality, WINReality.com/Jared, JARED to sign up today. That is WinReality.com/Jared. That is like the longest Win Reality ad read of all time. Like we started that like 15 minutes ago.
And I want to make it longer because I've wanted that. So like, I'm fairly convinced my career's just beginning. Like,
Yeah.
Like, don't let me get in the win cage and just start blasting dingers. I'll show up at spring training so fast.
Do you want to do it?
Oh yeah, I told you about it.
I have it.
I know, and I've told you needed the other things. You need a bat. A bat would be helpful.
I have a bat.
You weren't using one.
Yeah, I wasn't using one when Jake was here, but I have plenty of bat. I told you I want to get the plastic, like the black hollow Ken Griffey Jr. bat,
which would be sick. But you need to have the proper weight. Otherwise, you're going to step into the actual box at spring training next year, and you're going to be way off.
Well, I'm going to start with that and then work my way up.
No.
You want me to just be taking gangster hacks with a fucking a drop 3?
Of course, you can have you can tell the pitcher what to throw at first, get your timing down, and then let them then actually get some real game time scenarios.
I don't want to know what's coming. I'm not a pussy.
No, you just want to use a 4-ounce bat
against 10-year-olds.
A 33-4.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fine. Fuck you. I'll use a real bat then. Who cares?
They have between that and I know this isn't part of the ad, but they have the NFL version now too, where you can just be the quarterback. I'm pretty sure I'm Bo Jackson now.
You can what with the quarterback?
The NFL VR, right?
The NFL VR. You're in the you're in the pocket. You are the quarterback.
What do you use to throw?
Your hand.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, that's dumb.
But yeah, I need to win reality real bad.
All right, dude, come over. You never want to hang out with me. I literally bought my couch for you, and you've never used it.
Did it get delivered yet? I was supposed to get. I thought the Suez backed that up.
Oh no, I've had that couch for a long time. I bought my couch for you. You've sat on it 0 times. That's crazy.
I do need to be there for sure. There's no doubt about it.
You need to be there for what?
The couch.
Okay. And the Win Reality.
Yeah, that's just an added bonus.
Yeah. winreality.com/Jared. Yeah, I think you'd love it. I want to do some fucked up stuff on there. I want to do the I want to do the haunted houses and shit that they have in virtual reality.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I know that you're too much of a pussy to do it, but I want to do that stuff. I'm the type of guy that when I wake up from a nightmare, I'm that would make a sick movie.
Have you done the boxing, Jared?
No, I've only just been socking dingers off 10 and under.
I won't lie. I tried the boxing at my boy's house and I ended up on my ass. I actually got caught with a nice little uppercut. It feels a little bit too real. I'm not a fighter or anything, but
it's also
computer. That'd be a tough scene.
I didn't go out, Coley. I didn't go out. I was still there. I just, I got a little shaken up. I kind of lost my what's that called? The equilibrium.
Wait, how do you get hit in virtual reality?
You can it's boom, boom. It's a little bit of a blow. You don't feel the punch, but you kind of get dazed a little bit.
What?
I'm not the most balanced gentleman. I'll be the first.
You almost got knocked out by a virtual reality machine.
I didn't almost go out. I got unbalanced and fell. I got back up.
I want this on the record. I can beat up every computer on the planet, every last one.
Yeah,
that's a big thing to say. Listen, I was fighting Mike Tyson.
You
Mike Tyson.
What within the device knocks you down?
Well, when it's just you're getting it from different angles at such a rapid
getting
rate.
what?
I didn't really have time.
Getting what? There's nothing there.
Around. No,
by
but
what?
It's you feel the things coming at you. You see them coming, and you're kind of it's all about head movement. They say so. I'm kind of bouncing my head.
They say.
They say in the
but nothing.
world.
But nothing touches you.
No, but it's more if a ball came in and it was coming in tight and you kind of lean back, you were taking some swings, you might end up a little off balance. I'd compare it to that. I
just let them hit me in virtual reality because it doesn't hurt.
Well, I move I have great movement, and I got a little caught up in my head movement. I got back up. I didn't lose the fight.
I got back up after I got knocked down by the fucking invisible person I was fighting. Jesus, Tyler.
VR is some great technology.
It is. And I feel like we've merely scratched the surface. I don't know why. I'm just yeah, when Jake comes over, he'll figure it out and then I'll do it. But I probably could figure it out myself.
Nah.
You don't think so?
You and technology is not.
I mean, I figured out a lot of stuff. You just have to, I'm a visual learner. You got to show me how to do it once and I'll be fine. And I'll just be good to go forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. People forget I used to code HTML back in the day.
MySpace? You talking about MySpace?
Yeah.
Do you know how to turn your PS5 on?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. I don't even. What is it? PS4? PS5? I don't
Is
even
it a
know.
PS4? Jake,
I don't
do you
know.
know?
I think he's got the 5.
I don't know.
We'll work on that.
Thank you. Wait, so do we have a tie for Clark's ketchup?
It's a bit problematic here.
I mean, we have a tie.
We can't have a tie.
I mean, we can't have a tie. I mean, who wins then? Who's the deciding vote?
The people that are right in this conversation. We're not giving pity votes, which is what Jake gave JD.
No, not at all. He gave him the importance vote, which is he won the game today.
Jake, you can make an adult decision here and change your mind if you
Tyler,
like.
let me ask you a question.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Let me ask you this question.
Yep.
Would we have given out ketchup today if the Red Sox lost today?
No.
Okay. Would the Red Sox have won the game if JD Martinez did not hit a home run in I believe the 8th inning?
Potentially, yeah.
No. Yes or no?
In an alternate timeline, sure.
They would have lost.
We don't know that. You don't think anybody else in that lineup was capable of doing or coming through there?
Nope.
Oh, I'd have to disagree. I'd take the guy with the higher OPS. I have plenty of faith that he would keep the rally going.
Tyler thinks that walks are the most important thing in baseball.
They are very important.
I mean, unfortunately, we're at an impasse.
I think defense is important as well. I don't like to throw away that part of the game.
I mean, we're not voting for the fucking league MVP. This is a Clark's ketchup MVP. It's different.
Is there different qualifications here that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, we don't care about defense.
So Pet Elephant gets you more points than defense.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I'm pretty committed here.
All right, if no one's gonna budge off their pick, then I don't know where we go from here.
Dude, just give it a tie go to Franchi.
Wow. Home run king.
Tie goes to Franchi.
That feels like it should be the rule if it's not the rule.
Tie goes to Franchi.
People will think we've absolutely lost our fucking mind. We we're delusional who's on the team at this point.
It's like people are gonna start looking at the season ranks. Be like, wow, Franchi won the fucking Clark's ketchup 5 times this year. Like, no. That's just what happens when they tie.
We gave it to Pawecki last time.
He deserved it.
Not fighting you on that one. That's a fair pity move.
That wasn't pity. He was amazing.
Whatever helps you sleep.
All right, yeah, I guess tie goes to Franchi.
This is unacceptable.
There
has to be someone we can call.
Who? I mean, we're already on the phone.
Where the fuck is Matt Barnes?
All right, I'll ask Matt Barnes.
He's gonna say JD.
I don't know what he's gonna say. You just never know. Matt. Let's see. Let's see what he says.
Not excited for this answer.
I hope he just goes Franchi.
What if he votes for... Should I tell him that it's tied between JD and Casas, or should I say, who do you think?
No. If he says someone else, it goes to Franchi.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take whatever Matt Barnes sends us. He may give himself some ketchup.
Yeah, he had a save in this series, right?
Yeah, finished another game. It was a little sticky, but he got it done.
Whoa.
Are you okay?
He also pitched... Wait. Did he pitch in 2 games this series?
Yeah, he finished the other game. Remember, it was like a double play to end it?
Yeah. What are they, 9-2 this year in the yellow jerseys?
Correct. I think I have their all-time record, actually.
It's got to be like 18 games over 500.
Yeah, I had it in a...
Yeah, don't even bring it up. Like, if they had just kept wearing them in the playoffs last year, we're on another duck boat.
All right, so they're 15-4 all time wearing them. That's a 789 winning percentage.
Also, I can't remember if this is public knowledge or not, but I do believe they asked for and received permission to wear them in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
they just
that was public.
Okay.
That was public.
Okay. And I think that they received permission to wear them on the road as well if they wanted to.
Ooh.
Maybe that was the public part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you've said both.
Okay.
I think the broadcast said they're expecting to wear them for the final series of the season, too. So I think we're going to get a little bit more of them before the end of the year.
Yeah. I don't know why the fuck they didn't wear them in the playoffs.
Because they wasn't it
they lost to the Yankees and they were like, oh,
right, they had they won like 9 straight or something, and then they lost one, and then they just abandoned them immediately.
Yeah, they abandoned them the first time they lost. Yeah,
right, which I remember arguing very much against, being like, no, just stick with them. There's power here.
Yeah.
No one listens to Coley.
We could have won the World Series.
We should have won that World Series.
Definitely.
Matt Barnes answered.
Let's hear it.
Not with a vote. I just started it off with Matt. And then he said Jared. I said the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP vote is tied and we need a deciding vote.
I have faith he'll make the right decision here.
You would think that? But who knows?
He's not going to value the walks. I know it. No need for that. That laugh.
Absolutely zinged them.
Fuck you guys. Supposed to be on the same side here, Coley.
Listen, I haven't budged from my vote, but a zing is a zing. There's nothing. I cannot tell a lie.
I said such nice things about your new show, Coley, and now I'm starting to regret them a little bit.
He said, who you got? And I said, I'm not allowed to tell you who it's between because if it ends up being a tie, then Frenchie wins. I'm not allowed to tell you who it's between because if it ends up being a tie, then the rule is tie goes to Frenchie.
I don't want to lose our credibility.
Do we think it's troublesome? He doesn't even know who it could potentially be between.
I want the opportunity for it to land on tie goes to Frenchie. So if he votes for Devers,
well, this will give us great insight into who players on the team, or they're just not even paying attention anymore. He's like, yeah, Frenchie had a decent series.
Yeah, Frenchie was pretty good. Yeah. And Vasquez behind the plate was just
calling a good game.
He was calling a good game. He had that one play, bang, bang at the plate, got the out.
Barnes was game 2, I thought Marshall got some pretty good.
But, man, we're just not talking about a series win if fucking Schwarber doesn't put one in the 15th row there.
We're definitely resting starters if Schwarber was still on this team right now.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah.
That's the difference maker, not the worst pitching staff in baseball in the second half.
I feel like they would have been better playing behind Kyle.
Yeah, they would have played up to Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably true. Just the human element, you can't really account for it. There's no stat for it, Tyler.
No, but at least Kyle will most likely be sitting on his couch, just like the Red Sox are this postseason, as the Phillies absolutely shit the bed. And then I'll have a nice narrative to push with Dave Dombrowski also going over the luxury tax and missing the playoffs.
I think the Phillies will be fine because they also hold the tiebreaker too. The Brewers they can't just tie them. They have to pass them by a game.
Brewers are playing right now. I have a couple boys at the game, actually. Oh, this is bad.
Oh, the
Marlins
homies?
up 4-2 in the bottom of the ninth.
Who's up? Cardinals winning?
Marlins winning.
Against the Mets.
I'm talking about the Brewers.
The Brewers are playing the fucking Mets?
No, they're playing the Marlins. Dude,
This is
what?
the worst rendition of Who's on First. And
That was not on me. Did everyone understand what I was saying? Did you not put this on me?
I mean, this is crazy that Matt Barnes hasn't submitted a vote yet. He's like crunching the numbers right now. He's like, hold on.
he's like, I think Francie deserves it.
Yeah, I said the Clark's Ketchup Series MVP vote is tied and we need a deciding vote. And he said, who you got? And I said, I'm not allowed to tell you who it's between because if it ends up being a tie, then the rule is tie goes to Franchi. And he said, okay, so how can I help? You can fucking vote. God damn.
This might be the longest it's taken us to ever make a decision.
Definitely. By far the longest that it's ever taken to come up with a Clark's Ketchup Series MVP.
We're talking about games that truly have almost no value, and we are
none.
We are sitting here doing this.
Zero. But it's about integrity. People say, "Oh, Jared, you think Barry Bonds is the real home run king? You don't care about integrity?" Listen to this episode. Tell me I don't care about integrity. You're an idiot. You're an idiot if you think that. I have nothing but integrity.
I'm starting the narrative that Matt Barnes doesn't know who his teammates are.
He's like, wait, so who did you vote for?
He's like, Springer? Were they even on the same Yukon team? Probably not.
They were roommates.
So, yeah, but like they didn't play together, though.
I don't know. He just said, oh, man. Okay, let me think.
Oh, my God.
What's he been doing?
I don't know.
Are we to believe that Matt Barnes is busy at the moment? Is that the ruse he's trying to pull on us?
He just got to Canada.
Let me think.
No.
I mean, that plane probably got in hours ago. What time do you think they landed?
7.
How long does it take to fly to Toronto? 2 hours from Boston?
Probably.
Look that up, Jake. How long is a flight from Boston to Toronto? That game probably ended around 4 p.m. It's 10:45 p.m.
I've been in Toronto.
I've never been to Toronto. I'd like to go sometime.
Are you threatening to go every year?
I threaten to go every year. I'm like, this is the year I'm going to Toronto. And then I just never go. That's okay. I'm going to go some year. This year just isn't the year. I was actually, you know what? I was targeting this series this weekend in particular. Because we haven't been to Toronto since June 28th, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. When everything went wrong. Waka, you got hurt that day, right? Was that when it happened?
Yeah. Matt said probably blank or blank.
Is he serious? Oh my God.
Gotta pick one.
I'm starting to Coley's arc take is making more sense by the second right now.
He just Googled Red Sox roster.
Sweating absolute
He's like,
bullets.
what's his name? Ortiz? Who's that guy?
He's
Has
like,
he
I
watched
tell you-
any of the games?
No.
There's no way it's taking this long.
He's like, you know what? I think it's Matt Manti. It's yeah.
He's like, I feel like Westmoreland had a huge series.
Huge.
Jesus Christ.
Huge. Friend of the program.
Rye guy?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. We went to a game together. Oh, man. That must have been 2019, actually. It's probably been a while.
Had to have been.
Now he's typing. From my viewpoint, Rich going 6 shutty after 2 crazy games, and when 2 starters went short, is the MVP to help us in the pen and get the win.
I just want you guys to remember, this is someone you said like absolutely had a spot next year.
Seriously, this is a big moment. This is a big moment. This is worse than any save he blew early in the year.
Your Clark's Ketchup Series MVP, Frenchie Cordero. That's
fuck.
That's 1
Rich.
vote. What? That's 2 votes. JD, 2 votes. Casas, 1 vote. Rich Hill. Frenchie Cordero wins.
I hate the season.
It's a more correct opinion than Rich Hill.
That's true.
I mean, he's gonna say
He saved the pen. Right. Kaleb Ort closed the game today. How saved was the pen?
from
Really
my
did
point
Matt
of
Strom
view,
well.
Rich going 6 shutty after 2 crazy games. And when 2 starters went short is the MVP to help us win in the pen and get the win. I mean, it makes sense from like a I'm on the team perspective. Like he saved us. But this is about ketchup. This isn't about
The bullpen gave the damn game up today. Matt Strom shit the bed. If you even say JD Martinez, at least he helped you win the game.
Yeah. Well,
Spare me.
Oh, a spare me from Milliken. I was waiting on that one. Coley, when are you gonna come hang out with me?
Sometime after I'm done moving.
Oh yeah, you move like once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can never let them know where you lay.
Right. That's facts. What's the name of your new show?
Cut to It with Steve Smith Sr.
So who is that?
He's Steve Smith Jr.'s dad.
Steve Smith Jr.'s dad.
Not wrong.
And he played football.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Panthers and Ravens.
Panthers and Ravens.
Yeah. Cat and the Bird.
What games would I know him from?
When he physically dominated Akeem Talib and told him to ice up. Son. So I'm sure you remember that.
Was he the one that was Akeem Talib the one that broke someone's chain?
Snatched the chain. Yeah.
Okay.
His brother just murked someone at a pop
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, not great.
Akeem Talib's brother did that?
Unfortunately.
The details are pretty murky, so Akeem may also have been involved. Unsure. But Steve Smith also got a touchdown against the Patriots in the 03 or 04 Super Bowl. 04? We'll call it 04.
Okay. Well, congrats.
Thanks, pal. It is. It's been an adventure.
Explain that to me in like baseball terms. That would be like me doing a show with who?
I mean, you don't even really get along with baseball players, so it'd be hard to pinpoint it. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer within the NFL Hall of Fame is really stupid. Probably should have been last year. I don't know if it'll be this year, but within either this year or next year, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. So it's not like he is the biggest athlete out of Carolina for like the last 20 years. Like Cam at a higher peak, but in terms of like the love. So it would be like if I had grown up this whole time in Carolina and did one with like your version of David Ortiz, but to Carolina.
So like if I did a show with like Joey Votto.
That's actually a pretty good comment.
In terms of talent, yeah, I could see it. But like in terms of personality, the complete opposite.
What do you mean? Votto has a vibrant personality.
Yeah, but he's like
Steve's
nice.
a dog.
Yes.
Votto's a dog?
Different kind of dog.
Yeah, he is. No, he's a dog.
No.
He's a dog. He got that dog in him.
I'm trying to think, like, what would... I don't think Votto's terrible, but...
Pedroia?
Closer to that. Closer to that mentality.
It's tough. It's tough to do a baseball comp for this.
I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't.
Pedroia's not terrible. Pedroia's not going to make the Hall of Fame, though.
Yeah.
But he should. Everyone thinks that fucking Buster Posey's first ballot. Go look at those numbers and compare them to Dustin Pedroia. Tell me that Dustin Pedroia is not a Hall of Famer too. I don't know.
Good take.
Well, we're going to do the Stop and Shop look ahead. I know that you usually leave before that, Coley. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I hope if we lose out, can we get even a better draft pick, or does it kind of not matter anymore?
Yeah, we're so middle of the pack that who fucking cares?
We have a
right.
0.9% chance of the first overall pick with the new
Love
lottery.
That's good.
All right. So we're in the mix.
Yeah, we're in the
Anything's
mix.
possible.
Yeah.
Bayo's going to have one more start, right?
Bayo is in this series coming up. He pitches this weekend.
Can he get his ERA under 4? No, probably not.
It's
4.39 now, so yeah, he could get under 4. That's what. All I want to see is more Casas bombs and Bayo to get that ERA even. If he can get it to 4 by season's end, there's a lot to be excited about next year.
Bayo's FIP is in the 2s.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so Stop and Shop look ahead. Nick Pivetta versus Alek Manoah. Brian Bayo versus Ross Stripling. Michael Wacha versus Kevin Gausman. Manoah just absolutely, he owns every team in the American League East. I saw that graphic the other day. He 15-7, 2.31 ERA and a 1 WHIP, a 3.37 FIP. So, has led the American League in hit by pitches for both of his seasons in the MLB, which is great. He's faced the Red Sox 3 times this year. I want him on my team so bad. Faced the Red Sox 3 times this year. 2-0, 1.35 ERA, and 0.90 WHIP, and a 9.0 strikeouts per 9. 20 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 20 strikeouts. Blue Jays 2-1 in those games. Then you have Ross Stripling, 3.16 ERA, 104 WHIP, 7.6 strikeouts per 9. He's only given up 12 home runs this year, but 6 of them have come in his last 6 starts. He's pitched against the Red Sox 4 fucking times this year. 1-0, 2.70 ERA, 120 WHIP, 20 innings, 21 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 17 strikeouts. Blue Jays 3-1 when he pitches against the Red Sox. 22-9 overall when he pitches. Kevin Gausman, 12-10, a 3.30 ERA, 123 WHIP, 10.3 strikeouts per 9. Definitely should be a Boston Red Sox, but he's not. He leads the American League in FIP, 242, and strikeouts to walks ratio, 7.17, which is fucking awesome. He has 5 starts against the Red Sox this year. 5. The Blue Jays, what's their record, Tyler?
Blue Jays record on the season?
No, the Blue Jays record when Kevin Gausman pitches against the Red Sox.
4-1?
5-0.
Oh my
god. His pitching record 3-0, 2.32 ERA, a 12.5 strikeouts per 9, 31 innings, 31 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 43 strikeouts. 43 strikeouts in 31 innings against the Red Sox. Blue Jays are, I don't know how, 17-13 when he pitches this year. But yeah, just a couple notes on Bayo. 297 FIP and 53 1/3 innings. Amazing. Lowered his ERA each of his last 9 appearances. Has only made 12. Last 9 games, 261 ERA, 270 FIP, 677 opponent OPS, and a 350 BABIP. He did face Toronto back in July, 4 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. Got the L. Red Sox are 2-10 in his starts.
That's because the rest of the team is bad.
Yeah. I agree.
It's not his fault. I would argue his ERA is like 1. Like most of the runs that get driven in off of him are the softest, weakest hits I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yep.
He was the definition of getting killed by BABIP. Just like Triston Casas, his BABIP was like below 100 for the first 2 weeks he was in the big leagues. Like if you just give him somewhat league average, like Bayo's still at a 386 BABIP on the year, with 300 being league average easily. That's why the FIP's 297. Just unfortunate. Doesn't help that the Red Sox forget to play defense at times as well. And when he first came up, that they had incompetent people in their infield.
Competent. Okay. Prediction time. Coley, what do you got?
I think Bayo's going to pitch so well, they're going to give him Rookie of the Year.
Oh.
They're going to say, you know what, Julio, you already got the contract. Doesn't matter. We can't give it to Bayo next year. He's already over the 50-inning threshold. We have to give it to this nice young lad.
That does piss me off that he wasted his rookie year on this dog shit season.
Yes and no. I mean, like, he's pitched so well. I think it does kind of change a little bit of like your outlook for next year, especially in terms of like, all right, what do we need? Oh, well, we need one less starting pitcher because we have an ace.
I guess.
It also clears the way for Casas to win it next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to do it.
Mm-hmm. I think the Red Sox win 1 out of 3. Tyler?
I'll join you. The Blue Jays absolutely kick our dick in, especially when we're in Toronto. The series, I think this year is 13-3 at the moment. I think the Red Sox have won 2 of their games in Toronto this year. So, yeah, I think they'll win the Bayo game. I think Casas continues to be one of the best hitters on the Red Sox, and I'll take that as my one win, with the others being quite brutal.
Jake?
I will say, like, the Blue Jays are better than the Red Sox, like, no shit, but they're also giant cowards, especially just based on very recent history. Like, who gives up a home run to Aaron Judge? Like, what kind of cowardly organization does that after barely pitching to him? You can say a lot about the Red Sox. They pitched to that giant, and he didn't do shit.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. told me that was his house last time I checked, and seems like that house belongs to Aaron Judge, future Red Sox Aaron Judge.
It's true.
So,
Also, I had a dream last night.
Oh no!
That I had a dream last night that Kaleb Ort did not make the trip to Toronto.
Oh, Kaleb. Rescind your apology right now, please.
I was in a deep snooze. Just. Then I was just having this dream, and I was like, wow, is that Kaleb Ort? And he's not on the plane to Toronto? What the hell? And then I woke up, and they played the game today. So, but he got the save, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he got the save. So,
I wonder if this means like someone like Politi will get to come up and toss an inning.
well, it was just a dream.
Yeah, maybe in this dream that happens. We know it's not going to be Brian Mata.
Yeah.
And only God will
Mata
protect
getting
us.
one start before the season ended would be amazing.
I would love it, but I would not expect it.
Mhm.
And it better not be Josh Winkowski.
Well, this is all hypothetical, right?
Hypothetical, yes.
Is Sale really going to try and come back?
This year?
He got the vax. He's ready to go.
Oh, and not that. I mean, we play Tampa after that, right?
At home.
Right. I don't mean this series. I just mean this year.
What?
Weren't they saying he was good traveling with the team?
Oh, yeah, just for like spiritual reasons, but I'm guessing after the hurricane.
I thought he was trying to make like one start so he didn't have to have a whole nother off season forgetting how to pitch.
It's messed up.
How the fuck did we do 3 hours?
And there's a lot to talk about with this ball club. This is a good ball club. Coley, what was your prediction for the series?
I think that, this is not like Toronto's time of year to shine. Did they get swept by the Yankees or did they win one?
Would they win one?
I think so.
I think they won the first one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that was a Vladdy walk-off.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, so they'll win one again. Like they're an unserious franchise.
They're an unserious franchise. Coley hates the Blue Jays and the Mariners. It's fucking crazy.
I don't hate the Mariners. Last year, I was correct. You hate when you say things that are wrong.
No.
Last year, I correctly said the Mariners would not make the playoffs. And
No,
that the Braves
that's not what you said. You said the Mariners were not a team to be afraid of, which was wrong.
That was it. Well, true. Last year, they weren't.
Last year, you did not want to play the Mariners down the stretch. You just didn't.
I would have loved to have played the Mariners down the stretch.
The Red Sox did.
Yeah, right. Wasn't that the whole point?
The Red Sox kicked their dicks in.
Yeah.
I mean, the Red Sox were World Series champions last year.
Exactly.
The Red Sox barely made the playoffs until the Mariners got in their way. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you guys are the 1 seed now.
Yep.
And the Mariners are better this year. They listen to my advice. The Blue Jays, not so much.
Yeah. Okay. Jake's takes?
I'm just glad we were able to keep this one short and sweet like we planned.
Quick 40, baby.
We came on the call and we were like, we're going to keep this one short and sweet. Maybe an hour, maybe less. Who fucking cares? 3-hour podcast. You know?
You got to be real sick.
Well, I mean,
shit
for
like
2 hours we're waiting for Matt Barnes to Google his teammates.
Well, that's that, I guess. That's the end of the show. Coley, you have any final thoughts? Okay.
No.
You don't.
No.
Tyler?
Order your Triston Casas jerseys now.
You got a new jacket?
That's right.
Oh, what fucking kind of jacket is it?
That's a big time boot jacket, both in size and stature.
It's a big time jacket?
Oh, yeah.
What color is it?
Oh, buddy. It has 2 different colors because it's reversible.
Oh! Is it a starter jacket?
No, it's new era, but it's a bomber jacket. It's fire. It's in my it was the last Instagram post that was just pictures.
Nice. The Mick man. Oh, wait, this Red Sox jacket?
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
big time jacket.
Yeah, this is a big time jacket. It's got like all the World Series logos on the sleeves. It's got all the Red Sox logos on the front. Looks like maybe is that a pocket on the other sleeve there?
Oh yeah, it's a bomber jacket.
Oh,
is
wow.
Nice. This is nice.
It's got all the World Series championship logos going down the right arm there. Why didn't you flip it inside out?
Well, inside out it doesn't have any pockets, which is annoying.
Gotta have
but
pockets.
inside is camo, and it just has a giant red B on the back, which is sick.
Is that a blue Gatorade in your hand, Coley?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Good taste. Good taste.
I see Pete Blackburn commented tremendous fit on this picture.
he's not wrong.
No, he's definitely not. Are those like peach? Are those peach Jordan 1s?
No, let's not be ridiculous.
What color are those? That looks like peach.
No, it's like
Sherbert.
I can't remember. It's like a clay. They use weird Nike color names for them. It's not peach though. It's like a brown and a tan kind of.
Okay. Got it. All right. All right. Well, hey, it's been real. Appreciate everyone listening. I know this team fucking sucks, so it's not fun to it's not fun to watch them, and then it's even less fun to talk about them. So we try and keep it as light as possible. So hope you enjoyed the show today. Hope you enjoyed hanging out with Tyler and Jake and Coley and me. And enjoy your weekend of baseball, and we will see you on Monday.
Buenas noches, amigos.